We have been playing Tears of the Kingdom nonstop, and today we're going to be telling you about our first week deep skydiving into the game and how we feel about everything.
Yes, we're going deeper than the chasm, deep below, miles below Hyrule.
Yes.
I can't believe we're even doing an episode this week. I had to tear ourselves away from
Goodness,
this game.
you guys are lucky. I was just thinking about this, and we talked about it a little bit over the weekend in our 5 surprises, no spoilers video, where this is really the first big Nintendo game that we're experiencing like really fresh, because we left Nintendo and we've never really had this kind of experience before. So it feels significant, you know what I mean? Like, it feels different.
Pokemon says excuse me.
Pokemon wasn't that great.
But yes, you're right.
No offense, Pokemon.
This game is a chapter closing for us because this was the final game that we were involved in.
Yeah.
That has now been released.
Right.
So everything from here on is uncharted territory for us.
Right. And more importantly, you know, when you work at Nintendo, you don't get to have this experience. You give up this experience to work at the company, because no matter what you do, you can't avoid doing your job and, you know, having to do things like rollout schedules where you know all the story details, or being involved in all sorts of stuff pre-launch. And so you really do not get to have this element of true discovery and surprise. And it actually feels pretty amazing to be able to experience it for a game that we both love so much and have been anticipating so much. So to share that experience with all of you guys, it's been really, really fun, and can't wait to go deep on this game today.
So yeah, we have an extended conversation about that coming up. We've actually sort of reshuffled some of the normal
Yes.
segments that we have to make space for it.
Yes.
But we're also going to talk about, is this game meeting our expectations?
Yeah.
Our expectations were obviously super duper high.
Yeah, I mean, this was Breath of the Wild is your favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
We've talked.
It should be yours. I don't know why it isn't.
It's not. But we've talked so much leading up to this about whether or not this game is going to meet that like lightning in a bottle high bar. So yeah, week 1. We're still getting into it, but week 1 isn't meeting our expectations. We're going to talk about that.
Right.
It's exciting stuff. Speaking of our wonderful community that we get to share this experience with, everything that you see here on this channel is made possible by our wonderful Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us, for keeping all of this going. We had a great stream. I went a launch day stream.
Oh my gosh.
And so many of our wonderful Patreon subscribers were hanging out with us on stream, and those are the moments that I really love the most about doing this, is getting to have that kind of relationship with our community. So if you want to join us, we are at patreon.com/KitandKrysta.
And there are exciting things happening at Patreon that are new. If you have never done Patreon before, if you're curious about it, if you maybe have been a little bit scared to jump in, there's 2 things happening that make it super easy to do. They now have a completely free tier. It doesn't get you all of the amazing perks that you get at the paid tier, but it will get your foot in the door, help you understand what it's like, what is it like to be a part of a Patreon community.
Yeah.
That's a great way to check that out. We have a lot of great people who have joined at that free tier who are experiencing that for themselves.
And you still get some stuff. Like, you have been doing lots of Patreon community only posts, and the free tier gets that.
I wrote a heartfelt letter.
You did.
When we had the 10-year Nintendo Minute anniversary.
You did. I really liked that a lot. And then you've shared some updates about our Zelda week that we did last week. Also, you can vote in our poll.
You do get to vote in these polls that we do for every
is very
podcast.
Fun. And we do shout out the polls,
right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, great way to get in. And then if you want to jump in a little bit more, like dip your toe in, wade into the waters of Patreon, we do have a $2 tier, which is very, very easy to jump into to get you Discord access. And then from there are tons of other tiers to choose from with all sorts of awesome exclusive perks. And we love our community, and we spend a lot of time with them every week.
Also a free trial, I will say.
Oh, yes.
Again, if you're very curious or haven't done Patreon before, it's a great way to get in and check it out. No risk to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are also still, we have a goal to go to Japan.
We do.
We're still working hard towards that. And we had a great stream, like I said, where a lot of people donated to our Japan fund through Super Chat and Super Thanks, which you can do right there on YouTube. So if you'd like to contribute to our Japan fund, we'd much appreciate it. It's the only way we can get to Japan because it's very expensive to do that. But if we do get there, we get to make a lot of really cool content. So if you want to do that, we have the wonderful, I've been asked during the stream to put an update.
Every week we have the update. It's right here.
On the old thermometer.
The thermometer is going up. The thermometer.
The thermometer, as you like to call it. Is going up. I've been asked to continue to do that. So here you go. But thank you so much to everyone who's donated to the Japan Fund already. We love you guys. It's very, very much appreciated.
We have had a busy week on the channel. Zelda Week has concluded. We have closed the book on that. I don't even remember. 10 videos, 12 videos. I don't know. It was a lot of videos.
It was a lot, but it was so fun.
I can't list them all, but it was a very successful week. Seemed like you all enjoyed it, so thank you for being a part of that. But if you need to catch up, they're all there. Again, there's a lot of stuff, so please have a look. Looking ahead, though, we have a very fun week. We have some Zelda coming up, too, but finally, the vlog that we've been talking about. Game snacks from a Japanese supermarket.
Oh my gosh, we've been wanting to do this video for a really long time where we go to some Japanese grocery stores in our neighborhood and we try to find game-themed, like video game-themed snacks, and then we do a taste test. You know we like food here on this channel. So we did that and we vlogged it and we got some very interesting stuff. Some things happened in this video that I never thought I would be doing.
You sent me a text message that I believe said eating out of the toilet was a mistake.
Yes.
Which I could have told you that.
Yes.
I think most people could have told you that.
I actually said drinking out of the toilet is a mistake.
Okay. I mean, whatever you want to do. If you'd like to know why she said that, watch the video.
Yeah, there were some very unexpected twists and turns that happened in the gaming snacks video that was not anticipated, but it was very, very fun. I think I never laughed so hard in a grocery store. So anyways, go watch the video. It is fantastic.
We have an unboxing of the Cuphead incredible limited edition, which has like a Cuphead marionette. Thank you, I Am 8-Bit and Steve Moldenhauer for sending that to us. Wow.
So amazing. From like the marionette like masters in Prague, which I've been to, that marionette theater.
I don't know why you've been there, but okay.
I was in Prague and that was like the thing to do. Anyways, it's incredible. Like everything that they do, that they send us is so like high quality and unique, and we really appreciate it. It's really great.
We have a review of a great new book that I read called Game Master by Howard Phillips, who
love Howard.
Spent an incredible 10 years at Nintendo in the 80s, really was a part of this defining moment for the company. He wrote a book, which we reviewed. The book is incredible. I won't spoil what I liked about it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this still.
I know.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like the people in the circles that I would expect to be talking about this book kind of aren't.
Yeah.
So I want to get the word out there because this is an amazing book.
It's an amazing book filled with a lot of, really interesting pieces of history about Nintendo, things that I didn't even know about, things I've heard whispered in the Nintendo halls from people that used to work with Howard, the hallowed halls of the old guard, as we call it. There's some people there that have very long tenures that are in Howard's book that we've talked to when we were at Nintendo. There's some interesting...
Some stories about people in the 80s going over to a corner to do some naughty business. We heard about that.
Oh yeah, the Love Nest, if you want to know about that.
There's a Howard and Nestor style cartoon about this.
Oh yeah.
What?
They're not holding back. There's some interesting similarities between our career at Nintendo and Howard's, even though they are many, 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 many years apart. It's a little bizarre to sort of read the book and just kind of think, wow, this company has not changed in that many years. But anyways, it's so interesting, and hopefully you guys like the video. And definitely, if you're a Nintendo fan and want to know about Nintendo's history, this is the book for you. Pick it up. It's really good.
Yeah. And we would love to have Howard on the podcast as a guest. So I'm just putting that out. I'm putting the good vibes. I'm speaking it into existence right now. Howard, contact us, please.
Yes, Howard.
That would be amazing to speak to him.
This is me trying to reach you through my mind.
One of those people from Nintendo's history that we never had any contact with.
We never had
through the
any
years.
contact or crossover with,
Yeah.
but I think we would have such interesting perspectives with each other because,
Yeah.
again, there's strange similarities between us and Howard,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I would love to talk to him about that and see what he thinks. So,
Yeah.
anyways, one day, hopefully.
Back to Zelda, we are doing Tears of the Kingdom bingo, a bingo challenge.
Bingo!
We have brainstormed like so many ideas for videos now that the game is
Yeah,
out that we
yeah.
can do it. Like, gosh, we could be doing these for weeks, months, I don't know.
Yeah,
And we had to pick one to start with, though.
we do, yeah.
And,
It's like we're limited based on how many hours we've played.
Right.
We
There's
want to
some
make
stuff.
sure we're like,
There's some stuff we need to get a little bit deeper into
Yeah.
to do justice
exactly
to.
to the idea.
But bingo is a classic one for us.
Yes, we like bingo.
Always fun.
We're not
always,
80 years old, but we like bingo.
Always delivers. So we're doing Tears of the Kingdom bingo. We're going to see
Yes.
who does
We're bringing
better.
back the challenge board, people. This is my chance to pull ahead.
Dig out of your hole.
I'ma put it right
I actually
here.
don't even remember where we are.
We're very, very. We have not done a challenge.
Do you have that?
video.
Do you know where the standings are?
You
don't know
can
at all.
Look it up.
No, don't
really
do that.
quick. It's okay.
No. The drama's high, though.
The drama is very high. We've been asked by our community to bring it back, and this could be the year of the Christopians. This could be our year, guys.
I doubt it. You know what isn't your favorite, though? It's your birthday. Literally today. The day,
boy.
Thursday, the day this episode comes out to the public, it is your birthday.
It is my birthday.
Wow.
I know.
I'm so happy for you.
Oh, good.
And to celebrate it, I have a lot of gifts for you.
Oh boy, gifts. Everyone likes that.
We have a video where you're opening all your gifts.
Better be a Steam Deck. No, just kidding.
I'm feeling
Just
some.
kidding.
I'm expecting to get roasted in the comments of this video. Like, oh, she got your Steam Deck and you only got blah blah
The
blah blah
Steam
blah
Deck
blah.
can't even be held in
What
my
can I do?
baby hands.
What can I
It
do?
doesn't even- I don't.
I don't know what I can do.
You better have gotten me a real life Torah pad.
I bought you a pony or something. I don't know.
Oh, a pony? Is it Epona?
Yes, I got you real life Epona.
Oh wow!
The birthday escalation is aggressively happening. Okay.
You're gonna get a real life flying machine next.
I'm gonna push you off the roof.
You're gonna have a fan that you need to like glue to the. I'm gonna buy you a fan.
I went to Target.
Here's
I got a large Tupperware container and a ceiling fan, and we're gonna put you in there and see what happens.
You're the Korok,
Oops.
and we're just gonna put. Oof! We're just gonna push you off.
The things people are doing to Koroks, I don't appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna say that.
I had a tweet out that was like, "Why is our, like, as a collective humanity, our first expression of creativity to just torture Koroks and to make giant body parts,
appendages
appendages
shooting fire.
that shoot fire and other things that are." I had a dream about this last night.
If that happens to you in real life, you should see a doctor.
I think I saw too many like statues with appendages that I like had a bad dream about it last
But
night.
leave the Koroks alone, okay?
They're innocent creatures.
Yeah.
They're annoying, but they shouldn't be tortured.
Leave Brittany alone. Leave the Koroks alone. Thank you very much.
The Koroks crucifixion tour with the
That's
with
what
the
I'm talking
pony
about.
ride?
I don't appreciate that.
What is the deal? I definitely yeeted one accidentally, but not like because I was purposely trying to
You were being
a rocket to this poor
You were being mean to it.
European road trip.
What?
They're wearing like
Oh, the backpacks.
There's like we're on.
They're
like,
taking a gap year.
They're taking a gap year. Yeah,
Korok gap year.
they've taken a Korok
Yeah.
gap year. They might be freeloading at a hospital.
They come from privileged families, so they're taking a gap year. You know?
This is why they're annoying
Yeah.
and deserve to be yeeted a little bit. But anyway,
It's like the pickpockets in the town square. You deserved it.
you're in Rome. What are you gonna
Learn some life lessons the hard way.
yeeted. Rocket yeeted.
Oh boy, from Koroks
man.
to better things. This episode is sponsored by Care Of. Thank you, Care Of. We love Care Of.
Thank you, Care Of, for sponsoring this
Yes.
episode.
Care Of is a subscription service that ships high-quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every month. We use it. We love it.
We use it. We love it. We are big fans of an in-depth online quiz that helps you
True.
determine your life. Okay,
We're suckers
We're
for
such
that.
suckers.
Yeah.
And you know what? The reason why we're suckers for is because it actually works. This one is really good, though.
It's a good quiz.
They really like go deep into your current eating habits, lifestyle habits, and from there they kind of put together a personalized vitamin supplement package for you.
I retook that quiz
Me
this
too.
weekend because
Yeah.
I needed to update it.
Yeah.
And It only takes like 5 minutes or so, but it does feel extremely in-depth. By the end of it, it's like, you know me. You know exactly what I need.
You know me.
Yeah.
You know my guts.
You know my shortcomings.
Yeah, like I think it was really nice that to retake that quiz, and you can do it periodically. Because before you were taking the quiz for like you were taking your vitamins for like immunity because it was like cold and flu season.
It was winter. Yeah.
Now it's more. I'm taking it more for like energy because we're like getting outdoors more.
Yeah, summer fun.
There's like some some summer vibes coming up. But they come the vitamins and supplements come to you in these like cute little packets with your name on it. It's like care of Krysta. It's so cute.
It keeps you very motivated to take it every day.
And it's like a little slot. You just take it out and it's
ready for you.
It comes out and it's like just very conveniently packaged for you, which I really love. Yeah,
right.
It's awesome.
So for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code KitandKrysta50. I repeat, for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code KitandKrysta50.
We're gonna put the link in the description box below, and it's also right here as usual.
Yeah. So we said we adjusted the sort of flow of this episode to make room for the big Tears of the Kingdom conversation. So guess what?
We're getting it right now.
We have neither a story time nor. A never a minute segment, because we want to go straight to this. We want to make this the focus. So let's get into what we are playing. We actually have a few things beyond Tears of the Kingdom, but you'll get to that in like an hour.
That'll be a real quickie. But let's get into this big discussion. I'm like itching. I've been thinking about this discussion like all weekend as I've been playing.
Right. So where do you want to begin with this?
Let's just go in the order of.
All right, yeah, we have a number of things here. So we'll sort of go through our experience of this over the last week, and we should say we're recording this on Monday. So at this point, we have played through the weekend.
I've played a lot.
I actually don't know what my hour count is, but generally, like, what have you done in this game?
Yeah, I haven't slept, eaten, or done any sort of adult, responsible activities. I've literally just been playing this game. So I feel a little foggy. You were making fun of me this morning because you were like, why are you so out of it today?
Oh.
I think this game has like zapped all of my brain power. So now I'm just dumb in other parts of my life, which is great. My point is that I think I accomplished quite a bit. Like I have obviously finished all of the initial, Great Sky Island stuff. I've done
the tutorial. Congratulations.
I've done the 3 layers. I'm in Hyrule. I've explored quite a bit of Hyrule. I've gone underground and have explored parts of those chasms.
Yeah.
I've gotten my goals are right now twofold. One is to sort of unlock the map and get a lot of those towers.
Yeah.
And I also want to just make Link a little less squishy. He's very weak right now. So I really need to prioritize like getting some more hearts, getting some more stamina, getting better armor. So I'm really doing sort of that like prep work.
Okay.
I have unlocked the story to the point where, it's definitely a bit more free to explore.
You choose one of the 4 regions to go to.
Yeah, and
have you been to one of those regions?
I have.
Okay.
I've been to pretty much all 4 of those regions.
Oh.
Just to take a look-see.
But have you actually gone to those those spots where the flashing thing on the map?
But let's not spoil anything here.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, this conversation will have no spoilers. So I want to be careful because I don't want people to be mad at me because they're always mad at me. But yes. So I'm doing a lot of prep work before I get into those 4 regions and go deeper into those stories because again, Link is real weak right now and kind of sucks. So yeah, I need like better weapons, all that stuff. So
yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing. I feel like I'm accomplishing my goals.
Right now, I don't have a big objective. The game is so big, I'm still sort of feeling that out.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of aimlessly roaming around, honestly.
Okay.
So I have been to one of the 4 spots on the map just because I wanted to see it in time for this conversation today. I haven't actually been in the dungeon yet. but I started to take some of the very initial steps of what you do at that location to get to a dungeon.
Exactly.
So I could experience that.
There is some characters that you meet, and there's story stuff there.
Right.
That you have to prep for.
Right.
So.
But I, like you, have been activating some of those towers. I agree about Link, being really weak. So I do need to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not prioritizing much stamina though, because it's like I think with what I have now, I'm okay. I just need to get these hearts up. Is the big thing.
I'm definitely more leaning a bit more towards hearts. I would say I'm like, I turn in those orb things like 2 times for health to 1 time for stamina.
Oh, actually, I haven't even done any stamina upgrades yet.
Okay, I just did 1. I did 2. I was able to do like 2 heart upgrades. I think I can do 1 more right now, which I'm gonna probably do another heart upgrade.
Right.
And then I just gotten like 1 extra like little pip.
Right.
In that second ring of stamina.
Right.
I do like the stamina a bit because there's so much going up to the sky, like diving, gliding, and if you really do need stamina to get to those further places. And I find myself Link dying a lot because I'm not good at my stamina gauge, and he just like nose dives into the mountain and then crashes and dies in a horrific way. Yeah, that's happened to me multiple times.
You can toggle off the glider.
I know, but I'm just like, I can make it. And then I'm like, absolutely cannot make it. And then he just totally dies.
You're a monster.
And I feel bad for him. I really abuse him. He's kind of sad.
Well, maybe there is a method to it, but it feels aimless for me because it's like I'll find a tower and then you get shot into the air, and then that will usually open up some new sky stuff. Not all of it, because again, I lack the ability to get to some of the like really high up stuff or the stuff that's further away. But then I'll explore those, and then that will visually give me some new thing to see as I'm falling down.
Exactly.
That
like you
I want
can
to go
probably find
to.
some shrines,
right?
Mark them with your markers,
right.
or just know where they are.
So it's a very slow and haphazard way of going around, but I think it's fine. Like, I don't want to be like crazy regimented about what I'm doing in this game.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, I've been seeing people, like, we have this in our Discord too, of people who are like, oh, I've played like 50 hours already. I was like, you do kind of feel like, oh no, I'm falling behind. But I think that's a trap to avoid with this game because it's so much about your own pace and your own goals.
Yeah, your own pace is like so important to preserve.
Right.
Don't let people on the internet like bully you into rushing
bully
through
me.
it.
I'm
not bullying you. You've done more than I have.
It's gonna happen.
But yeah, I think it's also great that there hasn't been a lot of like big like story things on the internet, which is great. Like more so people are just experimenting with the usabilities and making stupid things, which I'm happy to look at versus it being like, I just did I just completed the main quest and here's the ending or whatever.
Right.
So I really appreciate that. It feels better that people are more focused on sort of all of their different like experiments than completing the game, which I think is great. Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that I thought I would be doing right away that I wanted to do right away and experience right away that I haven't done even yet. So like I said, I wanted to go back to the Great Plateau.
I got there accidentally last night.
And I actually haven't been there. I haven't even gone in that direction, period.
Yeah. I have bad sense of direction. I don't even know where that was on the map. And I unlocked a tower and when I was gliding down, I was just like kind of doing a 360.
You fell at terminal velocity into the Shrine of Resurrection.
I nosedive crashed into and then, yeah, exactly. But I ended up there accidentally and was like, oh my gosh, this is the Great Plateau. I was like, I had a nice, pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
So I kind of like discovering it that way. Like, we were talking about, it'd be fun to go back to some of those places that we loved in Breath of the Wild and see what they look like now. I'm not making it sort of a mission to seek those out, but I think just in my normal exploration of this game, having those sort of come up as surprises has been like really fun because you do kind of have like this moment of discovery, like, oh, this looks familiar, oh yeah, this is where this happened or whatever. So that's been kind of neat just to not have it be like a goal but just something that happens.
I do think I'm gonna wait quite a bit until I do any of those big dungeons, just because.
Oh yeah, you can't do it.
What do you mean?
Well, we're too weak. How are you going to beat the boss?
I know.
Yeah,
but I might wait and just do those like back to back to back to back once I've really like done stuff in the map, because I don't know, like again, like I don't love traditional Zelda dungeons, so it's not something I'm super looking forward to. And I would rather prioritize other things. So it's like, well, when I feel I'm ready to progress the story, I'll just like buckle down and do it.
I'm keeping that as like the ultimate reward for my hard work. Like, 'cause I love traditional Zelda dungeons, and that experience of going through a dungeon and then fighting a boss and then unlocking the story is very, it's satisfying, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's like the carrot that's dangling. Like, oh, like once I get more hearts and more armor and Link feels stronger and I like unlock different things, like I'll reward myself with the dungeon.
Yeah. Although I don't know, I mean, from people who have done those, there seem to be some mixed reactions from the community of like, oh, is this all the way back to being a traditional Zelda dungeon?
Not quite as much as...
So
yeah, we'll see.
I did not mind the Divine Beast, so maybe I'm making too much out of it.
Yeah, I like the Divine Beast as well.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Boy, this conversation is also meandering. So let's talk about just how the game opens, because I think that made a big impression on both of us.
Yeah. Again, no spoilers if you haven't seen this yet, but I was just really surprised by the way that this game opened, because Zelda games usually have a pretty formulaic opening. And I think one thing that was really interesting is that while we were, kind of watching those very limited trailers, especially that last trailer, we were like, oh, it feels more cinematic. Like there's more voice acting. There seems to be more focus on it being...
But you can fake that in a trailer, sort of.
You can definitely fake that in a trailer and like put together... Like that 2017 trailer.
Yeah, if you just take every like cinematic moment you have and string them together.
Take the memories, string them together.
Wow.
And then you're like, wow, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome, but it wasn't like as cinematic as those trailers made it out to be. So we were curious, I think, both of us, like how much of that will remain the focus actually in the game. I thought that opening was so well done, and like it just felt very fresh and just unlike any Zelda game that I've ever played. Like it just felt like, oh, we're on a new level now. Like we have leveled up to, this is what Zelda is now.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, I said that in the video that we did over the weekend, that outside of Xenoblade, I can't think of another Nintendo game that went that cinematic route.
Yeah.
So it is a big step for them forward to say, like, all right, we perfected the gameplay side of this, and now let's sort of delve into this more cinematic storytelling. It just felt very confident, and again, the way that it alternated between interactive stuff of you playing as Link, and then sort of cutting away to parts where you didn't have control and things were happening.
Yeah. That seemed very like sort of God of War, like that kind of modern
slow walking down a staircase.
The modern narrative driven, almost like Last of Us movie. The games that turn into HBO shows.
Right.
That's what that
walking simulators.
felt like.
I wouldn't want like a lot of the game to be that, but as an opening, it was very effective.
As an opening, it was very effective, and it gave you that story dump that you needed. But I saw that you tweeted about this earlier, or like maybe like yesterday or something like that. But like that opening where it was just like text on the screen,
the smallest font you could imagine. Could you read it? Were you squinting?
I was playing on my giant projector, so I could read it. I was sitting like this. Like that's classy. That's confidence. When you have like the tiniest font on a black screen, and your first immediate text is Nintendo Presents. Like, dang.
Yeah.
That's like. We let them cook, and they cooked.
You don't usually,
they did it.
You don't usually see that. Nintendo Presents.
It's so like, it's like not humble, which is what it's not Nintendo.
Right. It reminded me of the Mario movie.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like they are very much. It just feels very confident. I don't know how else to say it, but like, when we were at Nintendo, it was so frowned upon to like show off or to like be that kind of company where you're like we know we're the best, and so we're gonna really like put that out there. I don't think they were doing that, honestly, but it felt so much more like show offy than ever for Nintendo, and I was just like, oh, Nintendo Presents, oh my god.
I'm getting stunted on right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's just a different vibe, you know. It really is. It doesn't feel like they were sort of nervous about this at anything at all. They were just like, we know we have a hit. This is game of the year. You're gonna get so sucked into this. We are super confident that every single person that plays this game is gonna give it a 10. Like it just that was at the opening. That's what it felt like to me.
Now I want to go back to something you said. I know you usually play Switch games mostly handheld mode. So you were on the TV for this. To explain what's going on with you here.
I played the opening and the opening sequence that first night the game came out. I played that whole stretch on the TV mode because I wanted to see the cinematic opening. Or I wanted to see the opening, hoping that it was cinematic on my big screen, which is how I usually play a lot of like those types of games. When I play for that like narrative, I usually play on my big screen. But since then, I have gone all handheld. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now that I'm just like meandering around and exploring, I'm back in my bed, like with my Switch.
I actually haven't played the game in handheld yet at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I need to try it.
No, it's great. I have no complaints. I know people are like, it's not very, it's like laggy, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't think it is.
I'm sure it's fine.
I think it's fine, yeah.
Yeah. So after the opening, you end up in the Great Sky Island, which is this big tutorial area.
Yeah.
Which
it is the new Great Plateau.
That surprised me. I didn't think the game would have such a big starting area. I thought they would be much more quick to just turn you loose.
Yeah. It was very guided. It was very much like you have to do these tasks here before you can leave. Kind of thing.
I like that about it because these two games now are known for just, do whatever, and like the game is made for you to figure it out your way. But in this case, it's like Link has nothing. And it's like, look, we can design like a great piece of game that is the complete opposite of what you're doing in the rest of it. Where it's like you have to do the things we want you to do. And
it's a great way for you to get familiar with Link's new abilities, which are bit challenging to master, and I think they knew that. So giving you this very guided, almost like I hate to call it a tutorial because I feel like tutorial has a negative connotation that it's like boring and
Skyward
slow.
Sword. Somebody just talking at you.
Someone just chit chats to you
nonstop. You're just hammering text.
Right. They don't do that. I mean, there's some text, obviously, and there's some talking, but it's like they do let you learn, but in a very like obvious way. Like, here are the materials you need to use in this particular instance. And I was also kind of surprised that right in the beginning, they're like, here's some shrines that you need to do like right now. I was like, oh, shrines. Okay. I know about that.
The Great Plateau had some of those, and it was like, cry on a shrine. It was like, this is your test for, do you know how to use this?
Right. That's true. But I think I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'm back in. Okay, back to the shrines. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, like it was very guided. You know.
Yeah.
In the way that it kind of brings you through that experience.
Right, but I can't remember how long my first play in Breath of the Wild on the plateau was.
I didn't want to leave.
But I felt like this might be longer than I spent on the plateau before I jumped off.
Yeah, the plateau was great because you were doing kind of similar thing where you were like learning the ropes, but because it was connected to the rest of Hyrule in a very obvious way, like it didn't feel like it was like this separate thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the beauty of the Sky Island is that like it really does feel disconnected at first. I mean, now that you're able to kind of freely traverse, it feels more connected. But in the first part, you're like, oh, I am very sort of confined to this area. Like, I'm very interested in this area because this is like a new thing for me, and I want to explore like every inch of it. Like it was a real struggle for me to leave. Like I really didn't want to.
Because you liked it.
I liked it and I felt very safe there and I felt like I knew what I was doing, and I just knew that once I left, I'm not going to know what I'm doing at all. It's going to be like really hard. You know, it's like when you like leave home for college or something. Like it's a weird comparison, but it does feel very homey up there. It feels like you've really kind of grown accustomed to the characters that you're meeting there and what you're doing and how to traverse it and yeah, so then when they were like, jump off, I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to leave the nest. So it was like emotional to like leave the Sky Island. I really was like struggling, like, should I do it now? Can I ever come back here?
It does reinforce how reliant we all were on the paraglider.
Oh my God.
Not having that, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of things I usually do that I cannot do.
I've died so many times because I forgot. I kept pressing X and I was
Yeah.
like, oh wait, dang it.
That's why it felt like just a completely different game without that. Just
I know.
take
We
one
really
item away.
need the paraglider.
And it becomes a much more sort of traditional, on the ground
Yeah, not fun.
experience.
I don't like not having
I made this point also. I think if they released this as a standalone game,
It's an indie game.
just what you do for 3 hours, that would be awesome.
It would be great.
And it just ends with you jumping off.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's literally an indie game.
Yeah, it could be. Also, just like the mood of the Sky Island was so impactful. Of you've got those clouds everywhere. The music is different and new.
Yeah.
And really atmospheric.
It felt very sacred up there.
I didn't feel at all. Some people were saying like, oh, the game felt so much like Breath of the Wild. Like up there, and for that part of the game, I didn't feel that at all. I was like, this is totally different.
I felt like some of the things from Breath of the Wild that I used to do came back to me very easily.
Yeah.
It's like climb the tree, get an apple. Okay, yes.
Right.
Cook the thing. Yeah, like yes. How to fight. Like it was trying to teach me how to fight. Like I know how to fight. I know how to target. I know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like all that stuff came back like riding a bike. But the vibe of the environment was completely different. So
Right.
I really liked that. So it was like dual. It was like the best of both worlds, where you felt, if you played Breath of the Wild, you're like, oh yeah, these are familiar things that I know how to do, that I like to do. I feel capable in doing this. I kind of understand how some of these puzzles may work. Like I get it. And then the other part was like, oh, like look at these, this new environment, this like beautiful new landscape, these characters that I'm meeting. Like the story is so mysterious right now as well. Like you're just really kind of drawn into that side that you don't know. So I really like the duality of it. Mm-hmm. It's like it feels comforting, but also new at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reshuffle our talking points here.
Uh-oh.
So from there, from the Sky Island, you jump off and you end up on the new ground level Hyrule. And you sort of said, I think you experienced a bit of disappointment.
I did.
Once you got there. Tell us about that.
I don't know. I felt like, again, I was just so attached to the Sky Islands because it felt instantly like something new, different, and also very. I grew to see it as like my true home, like Link's true home is actually in the Sky Islands. Sort of like how maybe how you felt about the Great Plateau is like, oh, I'm leaving my home in the Great Plateau, my comfort zone. And when I came down to Hyrule, I'm like, oh, this is just Hyrule again. Like, I don't know. I know about this, So like, just kind of Hyrule is beautiful, and that the world of Hyrule, especially as we know it from Breath of the Wild, is absolutely incredible, obviously. But it's like, it's a world that you do know, right? This is the part of the game where you're like, yes, I am familiar with these regions, these characters. Yes, the castle has been surrounded by some sort of evil, like, yes, like this is what it used to look like. So there was not just a twinge of like, oh, the newness of it is gone for a bit. But then you start exploring Hyrule and you realize that it is quite different as well, and that feeling of like exploration and excitement comes back. But that initial landing, I was like in this field, like kind of like near the castle, and I was just like, oh, it's just Hyrule again. Like, okay.
That was something I had been so curious about in the Aonuma video, where he said like, oh, we don't have time to go through all the changes on Hyrule. I was like, what are the changes?
Yeah.
And now I know the changes are much more subtle.
Right.
Where there are a lot of things that are different, but it's not like fundamentally changing your memory of it. It's like, oh, right, that thing wasn't there before, that thing's changed, or there's a cave there now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like little things, because obviously time has passed, so things are different because time is a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hyrule is definitely my least favorite part of this game right now. But I love the whole thing. But like, if you told me like put the 3 areas in order, I'd probably say like Sky, Underground, Hyrule. You know. So that's just me though. Maybe people like love going back to Hyrule.
Yeah,
But, it's like fine. It's like yes, I know this. I know what I'm supposed to do here. Like I get it.
It feels a lot more alive to me just because there seems to be a lot more people you can talk to and interact with.
Yes. That part I do love is that if the world feels more lively, and I think this event that's happened, that has this, the event in the story that's happened has sort of united Hyrule a bit. So like everyone you talk to is like talking about this event that's happened because it's like very traumatic. And so it's like, oh, okay, everyone has like a common story. Like we're all like very distraught over like what the heck is going on. I love the people with the newspaper, like the Hyrule, what is it called? Like the...
Well, that was one of my very, very slight criticisms of Breath of the Wild was like, Kingdom of Hyrule, population 30.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like now you have the towns, and the towns feel, again, I don't know, they feel more populated to me. But then you find more people out, like, oh, here's like some guys tenting, and they're in a tent, and they're just hanging out, or people on the road.
Like you go to the stable, and there's like people staying at the inn or whatever.
Right,
and
it just feels more bustling.
Yeah, and they're like reading the newspaper. Like everyone's like look at the news. Like, oh my God, like this horrible thing is happening. Like, what do we do? Like it feels like the world is very like connected. So I really like that part about Hyrule, and like talking to the people, like meeting people around. I've noticed that like it feels more diverse in Hyrule. Like the Gerudo are also in like the Hyrule castle area instead of just like being cordoned off in the desert by themselves. And like Gorons are like walking around. I'm not saying any Saurus, but like out and about. But like it feels more like people are just like out and about. They're doing their things. They're trying to like make it work in this world where something really bad has happened. I've done a couple of little side quests that have been very, very good. And again, it makes it feel very connected. Like the side quests are based on like this event that's happened.
Yeah.
People are being affected by what is happening to Hyrule.
I've heard people say really good things about the side quests, which
good.
I probably have to... I can't prioritize the side quest at this point because I have other things that I need to do, but I do want to experience that.
They're very quick
later.
so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done... So I again, accidentally landed myself in Kakariko Village.
Oh.
So I've been really enjoying some village time. I mean, Kakariko Village is so, like, iconic, you know? I heard the music as I was landing on my glide. I was, I'm here! I'm so excited. But yeah, there was a couple little side quests there. It's a very interesting, like, when you go from village to village, like, what this event means to them, too. And so you, like, kind of are, like, getting pieces of the story that way, which I think is really well done, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So we also have these chasms and underground, which when we talked this weekend, you had not experienced yet. But you have now?
I have, yes. I went underground after we recorded our 5 surprises video because I heard you were talking about it a lot. And I was just like so curious because of what you said. And admittedly, when I first came across that gaping hole in the ground, I was very scared. I was like, I don't want to go down here. It looks horrifying. I jumped in and I died, first of all.
Again, no paraglider?
I was like, do I need one or is it water down there? And so I just like, woohoo! And then it was not water at all. It was like literally like rock.
Oh.
So Link ragdolled in the underground. The way he dies is so sad.
Well, don't do it then.
Like,
that's on you, man.
Like it's like a crash dummy, like just limbs everywhere. It's really sad. So, anyways, after I made it down alive, I was shocked by the underground, like shooketh. The style, the way that it looks,
it's scary.
I did not expect that at all. What is this? This is like a completely different game.
Right.
And how big it is, like you were saying, like it's basically the entirety of, like it feels like it must be the entirety of underneath Hyrule.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of grossed me out, honestly, but I kind of liked it too.
I
was grossed out, but also intrigued.
I haven't really been back since that first big chunk I did. I'm afraid of it, first of all.
I'm afraid of it too.
I don't know why. I mean, I did fine. Like, I fought some enemies. I beat them. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm under-leveled here.
No, yeah.
Or anything like that. It's
Although
just...
the icky stuff down there.
That's fine. I mean, you can avoid it. I don't... There's just something about the feel of, like, I'm going to get destroyed at any second. Something's going to come out of the dark. I'm afraid of the dark.
I'm very afraid. It's kind of like a Resident Evil vibe to it. Like, it looks gross. Like, it has, like, that gross factor.
Right.
Like, it could be stinky.
Did you activate some of those big light things, though?
I did.
Okay.
A couple of them.
I heard a great tip about those, which was interesting, which is the placement of those on the underground map always aligns with a shrine on the...
That's what I noticed that.
You noticed that on your own?
You can just
no,
flip,
you didn't.
You can flip the map.
You did not. Oh, yeah. I came up with that. Yeah, that was me.
I didn't come up with that, but I noticed that already.
I knew that. Well, congratulations.
Sorry.
Smarty.
Wow.
So I'm probably going to... That's... You had sort of your ordering of the three that you like or are not enjoying the most.
I like it because it's weird and different.
I would probably put that as third for me for now because again, I'm a little scared.
You're terrified.
I also don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do down there.
People say you can find some good stuff
besides
down there.
just explore it.
Yeah, there's an armor down there that's really.
Yeah, there probably is. So
there's like camps and stuff. Like actual humans are.
Oh, really?
Down there. That's what I heard.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, it's a huge space. I'm sure there's a lot. I just don't have my feel for what is my rhythm of what I'm doing down there.
I need some armor. Link is wearing like a bed sheet. For the person that's supposed to save the world, they sure aren't doing much to help the guy.
I'm so confused.
He's like a bed sheet and Uggs.
I'm so confused about the amiibo drops in this game because I got all of my like 25 Zelda amiibo,
excited,
and like the first night I was like, here we go.
Away.
And this is after I'm off the island, so I was like, it might be nerfing it once you're in the tutorial area. I got off and I scanned it. I just haven't gotten any like of the unique armors. And I've been reading, I was like, it's very unclear. Like, can you still get those that way?
Somebody had the Link Awakening with a big face.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Well, first of all, you said no spoilers, and then you just said that.
That's on the internet.
So there's a lot on the internet. This game was on the internet weeks ago.
This was
What's wrong with you?
Oh my god. I don't think that's considered a spoiler. I can't. No, I'm thinking story stuff.
There's more than just a story that can be spoiled.
Oh, people, please.
Yeah, I'm very confused about that because I agree. I would love some new armor. Also something that just looks cooler. Because I just have the super basic stuff that you buy at that outpost.
I didn't buy anything
at the beginning.
Yet. I'm still wearing a bed sheet.
You're still in that?
Yes.
Oh, you should buy something at least.
And it looks so sad.
Yeah. What were we talking about? So that's the underground, and then the Sky Islands.
Yes.
So this, I'd probably say, this is the thing that I want to explore the most and more that I have, but I don't really have the means to do that to the degree that I want now. Yeah,
they are a lot more sparser than I thought, first of all.
Are they?
Aren't they? Like, I look up in the sky all the time, and I'm like, what? Is that a thing?
But once you're up there, like, you see a lot of them, but you just can't get to them immediately.
But they're also, like, tiny.
Some of them are small, some of them are bigger.
So I did make a very valiant... I had a valiant effort, and I did get up to a larger Sky Island that felt more akin to the Great Sky Island. Like it was sort of a chain of islands.
That's neat.
You needed to do some stuff with like mine carts or whatever to traverse them, and then there's a shrine up there.
Yeah.
So and then the shrine, that's great.
I like that there are shrines up there.
Once you get the shrine, you can warp up there.
Yeah.
And now you're already up there. Now you can look around, and maybe when I do have the means to like get more batteries or whatever, like I can get further from there.
Yeah.
There's also a very interesting mechanic on that island where it was like a catapult. Mm-hmm. And so you can like turn the wheel. And so I'm like,
maybe we both been to the same one.
So that one is a good one to just get,
yeah.
I think, because that will allow you to have more access to them. Because I think access is the thing that is lacking for me as well in the early days, because I'm like, I don't have enough stamina to like glide over there. I don't have the means to like get to some of the, I can't climb it.
There are some that are like even higher than where you get shot out of a tower that you can get to. It's like, I don't know how to get to that.
No, it must be from the Sky Island.
Unless I can get like some sort of a Zonai like hot air balloon sort of thing.
I made one and I tried.
Yeah.
And I had like, I gathered like all the batteries I could from like around, and then I like glued them all together. And then like, as they were like, the batteries were like breaking, I was like, oh no. It was very terrifying up there.
I'm fine with it not being like a glut of Sky Islands, because again, using the Wind Waker analogy, like it was not just islands. You're not like crashing into islands every which way.
No.
Right.
No.
So I like them being a bit more spread out. I'm enjoying the puzzle aspect of how do I get to that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But
I like that too.
I really like get a thrill when I get onto a new one.
Yeah,
of those.
the big one that I finally got up to, I was really excited about, because I said, oh, finally, not one that's just not a single treasure chest.
Yeah.
One that has like something I can do and something I could like.
Because that is now a new getting around mode that we didn't have before, which you shoot up, you end up there, and then you jump off, and you can kind of traverse horizontally that way. And again, like I was saying, get a great lay of the land as you're doing that.
Right. And then like as you fall, it gets like things come into view more.
Because you can go into that zoom mode and just mark things on the map as you're going down.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Don't crash.
And then I crash.
Don't crash.
And then I crash. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the day that I can get more into the Sky Islands, because I love it up there and I want to be up there, but I don't know how.
I'm waiting for the day where I jump onto an island and there's like 20 Lionels just waiting for me. One of those is going to have that. It's going to have like the level 99
what is the
God Lionel.
There's going to be like a Eventide Sky Island equivalent. Those.
Has anybody been to Eventide Island?
I haven't even. I'm not unlocked that part of the map.
What's going on there?
But you know that there's going to be like a Sky Eventide, a Sky Tide or something where it's going to kick your little behind. And you're going to be there for days and weeks.
All right, so let's talk about these new powers.
Oh yeah.
You get these on the Great Sky Island.
Yep.
There's 4 Ultra Hand, Fuse, Ascend, and Recall. Why don't we just talk about them in that order?
Yeah.
About what we've been feeling about them. Mm-hmm. So we disagree about Ultra Hand, or maybe you've come around.
No,
still have not.
No. Ultra Hand, so the disagreement that we have is you think it's easier than what people made it out to be before you started playing yourself. I think it's as hard, if not harder.
Okay.
I also think the game is over-reliant on Ultra Hand. Out of the 4, it's not very balanced. Like, you use Ultra Hand the most, I think. No?
Well, I thought that as well, but then I watched some videos of like, oh, here's some things that you're not doing with Ascend and Recall that you really should, and I was like, I'm a moron.
The recall ones, I saw people like using that to like battle with, and I was like, okay, yes, I get that.
So I think maybe early on we are just sort of defaulting to that.
Maybe.
Whereas there are a lot of other uses for the others that are less obvious.
I use Ascend quite a bit to traverse, but in terms of like
I saw one that was like, oh, with Recall, if you have one of those like airplane things, but you don't have a ramp.
Yeah, you can just put it up.
Like you can kind of do it in reverse.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can just fly it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a
Oh, again, you just knew that? You created that? Was that your video on your little side channel?
I saw that video too. I was just going to say it was a good idea. Calm down. But I do think Ultra Hand is especially in shrines, it is the one that is used the most. Because you are using it to like grab stuff and whatnot.
The shrines, I'm curious what the variety, because at this point I've done like, I don't know, like a dozen shrines.
Yeah.
What the variety of what you do of those actually is. Mm-hmm. Because I thought Breath of the Wild had a really good variety of like, some of them are just like straight combat, like the test of strength, you know.
I like those, yeah.
Or there were others that were very specific
on one of the powers. I've done a few little test of strength ones.
I agree that most of the shrines that I've done so far have been Ultra Hand.
Heavy.
Again, it's so early. I don't know. Maybe they did that on purpose.
So
again, to get you to learn it.
Because it's hard.
I don't know. Of just those ones around the castle town. Very, very possible.
Yeah, very
So I'm going to reserve judgment, but I agree with you right now.
I did do some shrines in the Elden region. I did some shrines in the Lanaro region. They're all Ultra Hand stuff. And some of them are really hard for me. Like, I do not have, like, the physics mind, I don't think. I was looking at a shrine for like 3 hours, and I'm still.
Look it up.
No, I won't.
Oh my gosh.
I won't. I refuse. Don't freaking tell me either, because I don't want to know.
So this is those are some of the best experiences I have had. Whereas like, I don't know exactly what the game wants me to do, but I figure it out another way.
Yeah.
And maybe it's ugly, maybe it's janky, but it works, so I don't care.
I do the same thing.
Those have been super satisfying.
I do the same thing, but then I think to myself, like, what is it that you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, it's not obvious, and it's weird. And then I look it up, the traditional solutions later.
Yeah.
So I solve it, and then I look at...
So you don't look until after you solve it.
Yeah, I solve it my janky way.
Yeah.
That I've cheated and done. And then I look it up afterwards. I'm like, this is stupid.
There was one that I had to look
get
up
mad.
pretty fast because there was a mechanic that they did not explain where there was like basically like a battery cell. There was an object that you had to charge with electricity. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I had to look up what that was.
Okay.
Because the game did not tell you.
Yeah, I guess you could just poke around.
But otherwise, I've been able to plod my way through.
Yeah, it's very clunky and very ugly.
Also, I say some of the shrines are a bit longer.
They are.
Than...
Some of them are like multiple rooms.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is way longer than
Right.
Breath of the Wild shrines.
Right.
Sometimes I go into a shrine, I'm like, 10 minutes, I can do this and get out.
Yeah.
No, it's like hours later.
It's longer, yeah.
And I'm still in the shrine.
I don't think you should spend 3 hours on a shrine. I think you
I'm
just
still in a shrine right
I think you should either leave or look it up.
I'm probably going to leave this shrine because I think I know, and also the thing is that I think I know what to do, but they're very specific with if it is a solution that they are wanting you to come to, and it's an Ultra Hand puzzle, they are very specific about the placement of the items.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, I'm in a shrine where there's a bunch of rails, and you need to like build these like contraptions to like get you up these rails. But the balance is so delicate that you'll like topple off if you don't do it exactly right. So I feel like, and maybe it's just me being dumb.
I think so. Oh, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I think there's some other way of doing it.
Oh, I was like,
and
that is so
you
mean.
are dumb.
And I'm like, birthday week, what is wrong with you?
I started talking. You just kept talking. That's not what I was reacting to.
You were. Look at your face.
No.
That's mean.
Look at my face.
But like the way that I place it, I don't think is right. So then it's like, it just, like, fails. So
right.
anyways,
right.
I'm like frustrated by things like that. So anyways, Ultra Hand is very hard for me. It's okay. I will muddle my way through it. Maybe I'll get better. Maybe never. I don't know. But I just have a hard time.
Outside of shrines, I don't find myself using it that much.
I built myself a little raft where I was like, like around the rivers. That was cute.
I mean, those are like fun to like make and fun to be on, but it's like, yeah, I could probably walk there, and as long as it takes me to do it,
because I couldn't swim that far.
Okay.
And I wanted to get into this like cave to like get ingredients and or like materials because I know there's like cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was easy. That was like you basically attach like three things to a piece of plywood and you're off. It's not like the altar. Like you don't need to make yourself like some physics nonsense in a shrine. Yeah, that part's a little frustrating for me.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Once I learned, I had a hard time rotating things the way that I like, but once I figured out that,
you have to grab it.
It got a lot.
But I'm so bad at
easier
it.
for me, or grab it from different directions. It got a lot easier for me. Just the act of sticking things together or unsticking them. I don't really have a lot of trouble with that. So, I mean, it works for me. I'm not making anything that's that great or elaborate or cool.
Yeah.
Stuff sucks, but it works.
When you're playing these, when you've built these Ultra Hand things, are you a Ultra Hand conservator? Or like, let's say you're in a shrine, you build something, do you take it with you to the next room because you don't want to build it again?
Well, I found some shrines where you kind of had to do that, where like there were not enough materials in the next room.
I'm like really lazy.
So I do that now.
I do that all the time. I'm really lazy. So like I'm building a bridge for the like to go across something. I'm just gonna take that bridge with me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rebuild the bridge. Like that's annoying,
Totally.
So I'm always like trying to like drag it into the other room with me.
Fuse is next.
It's the only way to get a decent weapon right now. So
yeah, the whole mechanic of like, or the whole story thing of like, oh, all the weapons have decayed.
Yeah.
It is pushing you to fuse everything.
You have to. Yeah, you have to fuse everything. I fused some stuff together I will say that we did a really fun like fuse prediction video like weeks before this game came out.
Yeah.
And I think we were very ambitious in thinking like what the fused weapons or arrows could do. I find that the fusing is pretty flat across the board. It's just like more durability or higher attack, but it's not really doing that much to like change up the weapon.
Except for my fire-breathing shield.
The shield is pretty.
That was so cool.
A little different. Yeah, the fire-breathing shield is good. When you have fused something else to a shield, like one of those like puffy mushroom things, it's like a one-use kind of thing.
Oh.
So it is like very temporary, I think. Yeah, and then the other things you fuse on there is just like add durability +2. You know, it's not like as involved,
right?
As I think what we were thinking.
I have not fused like everything in my inventory yet. I'm sure somebody out there's got some spreadsheet of every
fuses,
possibility. I should probably read that because I feel like I've probably underutilized fuse beyond just get a little boost to attack, which I frankly need.
I need
at this point because a lot of these weapons suck.
They are terrible, and they're very weak.
Break super easy.
Yeah.
So
I'm just fusing for that, really.
I should probably try some of those stuff that you get out of the like vending machines. Try more of that because there's probably some cool stuff you can do there.
Yeah, I do a lot of those to weapons, like the soldier construct things.
But like the fire shield, like I have something that shoots lasers now. I should probably do something with that.
Oh, I have a really great shield right now that's a spring.
Oh, what does that do?
People just bounce off of it. It's really funny. It's actually very useful.
Yeah.
They just bounce away and then you can shoot them with an arrow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the fuses are a little bit more limited than I thought it would be. But maybe like later on in the game you get like more stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
More stuff.
Ascend
is great. I always forget to use it. I'm always like, how do I get up there? This is so stupid. I'm like, oh yeah, ascend. Duh.
I don't know. I still don't know why you end up halfway in the. I guess it's if you don't like it, you can go back down.
You don't like what you see?
I have done that once.
You like pop up and there's like a bunch of like enemies, like bokoblins, and you're like, nope.
Because there was one tower that I had to get to where you had to go in a cave underneath it.
I did that one.
And then go up.
Yeah.
That was kind of tricky, actually.
I was like, spatially, I couldn't figure out like which direction to go. So I kept trying different places to ascend.
Right,
it was pretty funny. Yeah,
but they were talking about in the Ask the Developer that this was sort of like a developer like debug thing that they had. That they was like, oh, we should just put this in the game.
Okay.
Because they would go into these caves and be like, oh, it's taking me so long to get out, and then they would just shoot out.
That's funny.
So,
yeah. I mean, I use it as a way to just traverse. Sometimes when I'm like, trying to get to like a higher level or whatever, like it's easy to do that. I found that you use it a lot more if you're exploring the Sky Islands.
Yeah.
That is a good way to get around the Sky Islands. I used that a lot when I was up there doing that Sky Island shrine. But otherwise, you can also use it to cheat in shrines, which I did for one of them. You just
Are you sure it's a cheat?
Ascend your way out of it.
Are you sure?
Because they had like a complicated elevator situation that I couldn't figure out. I was like, I don't understand what you want me to do here. So I just ascended out of there instead.
Okay.
And it was much easier.
This is becoming the theme of this powers conversation is like, we are underutilizing all of these.
Well, I'm too dumb. Like, I don't know how to use these things. I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
I'm keeping my mouth shut right now as you...
I'm not smart enough to like figure it out. I need to like, I don't know. I'm just like bumbling my way through this game. Okay, so that's Ascend. Recall.
Yeah.
Recall.
So you've done the thing where you ride the big rock up into the sky.
Yeah.
What else have you done with this?
I have done the thing where you make your own runway with that floaty bird helicopter Iron Man jet thing.
I saw that last night. I have not had a chance to try it, but
I did that.
That seems super useful.
Get across some sky islands there.
Yeah.
I have used it in some shrines to help with some of the puzzles. I have used it on some enemies as well.
Of like a projectile back to them?
Yeah.
What was the projectile?
It was a big rock.
Could you do it with like an arrow, a single arrow?
I don't know if you're fast enough to click the button.
Small?
Too small. I haven't tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the one that has the most potential that is untapped.
This is basically that one where, what is that one from Breath of the Wild where you could like hit it a bunch of times?
Exactly.
What is that one called?
Yeah, that one was Cryonis, Magnesis. What's the other one?
I don't know.
Stasis. Stasis. That's it.
That's the stasis where everyone figured out all these unique ways to use stasis. I think people are figuring out unique ways to use recall. I saw one that was awesome this morning that someone had made an appendage out of rocks.
No,
and
really?
A bigger two round rocks and a bigger rock. You put it together in your head here, grabbed it, used recall, or like moved it around in a circle really fast like this. Used recall on it and then lured a Hinox over into the circle of death. And then this Hinox was just getting slapped by this rock appendage, okay? Like literally wrecked by this thing. And then it died. And that's how it died. So bad day for that Hinox, but
tough way to go.
Tough way to go. We'll pour one out for him. But that's what you could do, apparently, with recall. And I was like, brilliant. Brilliant. Because you could, like, make your own path with it and then reverse it so that it, like, does a thing to an enemy. You know what I mean? Or, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was it was, one, hilarious, and two, brilliant. So there you go.
It does make those 4 powers from Breath of the Wild feel a little quaint. These 4 that you have now.
It's such an upgrade.
It's like, bombs.
Kind of bombs.
That's one of your things. Do you have bomb plants?
Oh, I love those bonfires.
You got
those are my like go-to. Can't solve a shrine, blow it up. Yeah. That's my like solution to everything. Yeah. Can't figure it out? Let's just bomb it and see what happens.
It's like could they just keep making games like this? Of like we just came up with 4 new powers, and we reshuffled the world a bit more. New game. Here we go. Because this did seem to be the starting point for a lot of the ideas for the game. If we just thought of all these other powers. Yeah.
That is sort of the main unique difference. I think that and the environments that you're exploring, adding the 2 environments. Yeah. But like the creativity you get from these 4 powers are really like, I think what makes this game really special.
As a Zelda purist, do these powers upset you? Like, get this out of my Zelda game.
No.
Give me my boomerang and let me do my thing.
No, I love it. I think it's great. I'm not good at them, but
so you're not mad.
No, I'm mad. I want to get better, and I want to like learn from other people that are very good at these. I think that's the best part of having this level of creativity is that you see videos like that online. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so brilliant. I want to try that.
Yeah.
I think that was what made Breath of the Wild really fun, and it definitely sort of feels like that is a big focus for this as well, and people are certainly doing that. But no, I don't miss the traditional Link gadgets or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shrines, we kind of already talked about that. Anything else you want to say about shrines?
I do like the little puff of green smoke that comes out of them because it makes them easier to find.
It's easy to see.
It's easier to see.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there they are. You can see them from real far away, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and besides them being, harder than ever, it's like, I did not expect them to be this hard. So
there's, I think, 150? And there were 120. So there's actually more of these.
I didn't even get all the shrines in.
I didn't either.
I think I got like 90.
I think I got around 100, and I was like, that's good.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm tired of these.
Yeah. Right. So, but I guess, if they're being, are there shrines underground? I guess they couldn't if that's
the roots,
since you're the master of the light plants, there can't be a shrine underground, can there? Or could there?
I don't know.
But they are in the sky. We know that.
In the sky.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
So maybe the additional ones are all in the sky. Who knows? I don't know. Shrines though.
Dungeons, neither of us have done them, so we can't really talk about that. But again, I am on my way. I'm doing like a little quest to get to the dungeon. Yes. I'm in the Zora region. Is where I am.
I went to the Heber region.
I've reunited with Sidon.
Oh, hottie.
Did Sidon talk in the last game? Like, did he have voice acting?
I think in the cutscenes he did.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Especially in the Champions DLC, there's a lot of like chit chat.
Yeah, because he does talk in this. Yeah. I was like, I can't remember if he did that before.
Yeah. I went to the Hebra Rito village. First.
Yeah.
So I'm in the snowy area.
Okay.
Cold as can be.
That's why I didn't go there, because I was like, I don't have the gear for this.
I have the
what
Uggs,
do you have?
The Ugg boots.
Oh, that's all you have.
Yeah. But I don't need it right now. I'm not going into the mountains.
Because all the other three required some sort of, because it's like, okay, if you're on the volcano, you need the heat resistant. I'm not going to have that.
I also have the spicy peppers still. So I've been eating.
Or if you go into the desert, it gets, extreme there too. So I was like, this is the safest place for me to go.
Okay, that's good.
And again, I don't plan to do it. I just wanted to see.
Getting to the dungeon is a feat in and of itself.
So you have done that?
Well, I mean, I'm trying. It's very difficult. Yeah.
But so you're not there yet?
No.
Okay.
But like, it's not easy. It's not like you're just gonna warp to the dungeon and there you go.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The difficulty in general, I think, feels a bit higher. A bit higher.
Really hard.
Like, there's a lot of enemies that are just one-shotting me now. And then you talked about, the shrines just being more complicated.
And Link is squishier than ever.
Maybe
weaker than ever.
It could be just the game telling you, like, use this new stuff we are giving you. Like, think harder about what you can do to
I have been...
gird your loins for these fights.
Gird your loins. Yes, that one of the towers involved infiltrating a huge camp of enemies.
Yeah.
With a bokoblin boss.
Oh, I noped out of that one. I just ran away.
It was a
Did you do
real treat. It was really hard, but I did have to quick whip my way through it.
Okay.
I ate like a stealth thing.
Oh.
I like bombed them from like above, and then I had this whole like recall thing with like some of the things that they were throwing at me, and then it was a very involved. It took me like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But they do want you. It's very hard on purpose, I think. They do want you to use the stuff at your disposal to do that.
You talked about how you like what you do at these towers more. But I don't know exactly what you meant by that.
Yeah, so before in Breath of the Wild, it's like the towers it's like a climbing puzzle basically.
I played the game.
Do you recall that?
I'm familiar,
Are you familiar with that game? That's your favorite game of all time?
What's your point?
I really like these towers because they feel very connected to the story.
Okay.
Of what you're doing with Pura.
Of re-scanning the land.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's funny. Like you get onto that like big like balloon trampoline.
I don't like how those guardian
and the guardian hands come out like.
He's like scared. Stop that. I
Like that.
Don't like that.
And then he has like a roll.
Like a bungee.
He basically
cord.
looks like the cable guy that's coming to like redo your cable internet. He's like that guy.
Yeah.
And he's like in the air, and he's like he has the iPad. He's like, oh, I got it. Okay. And then like the wires are all like.
Right.
I think it's funny. It's like it's very cute.
Yeah.
And he's just like stone faced, like with his little iPad, But I think it's humorous like that. It feels like it's very much like, oh, I'm doing this for a reason.
And it serves more of a purpose of shooting into the sky than
why would
in the
you
last
be
game.
up
It was like
there?
you did it, you're done. You're basically
and then you
not
go off
unless you want to jump off.
Yeah, off.
There's not much purpose to go there.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And it's cute that every one of them has like a little. Almost like a little mini quest.
Yeah, they are a little bit different of getting in.
Yeah, like some of them, it looks real easy, and then you're like, oh, I have to go from underground.
Right.
That's actually not easy at all.
Right.
I did one where the guy that needed to do it was like locked in a cage.
Oh.
And I had to get him out. He's like, I got trapped in here, help me. So like all of them are a little bit like a different challenge. But I think it's very clever.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done.
Yeah. The story in general, there has not been a lot of it since the beginning. How do you feel about what there is?
I am very curious about what's going on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think the story so far is really good. And again, I really like how, talking to the people around the world, around Hyrule, and, things that you're doing is all in service to the main story in a way. Even if they're side quests, like it's all related to like what is happening. So I think that's a good way of making you feel like even when there's not a main story development happening all the time, you're not getting like inundated with cutscenes or whatever, like story reveals all the time. You're like still living in the world where this like tragic thing or like this crazy thing happened, and everyone else that you're around is also living in that world with you. We're all in the same boat. Like we're all confused about what's happening and wanting to figure it out, and doing our own thing to try to like resolve the situation and understand it. So I like that about it a lot.
You have some big brain theories about what might be
I do.
happening, though.
I have a big brain theory about what's happening. I don't want to say it here because
Okay.
it's a spoiler. But this is, again, every single time we have one of these story games, I'm like, should we do a spoiler cast? Maybe we do a Patreon-only spoiler cast where we talk about the
Well,
story.
you better beat this game first.
We can do it like in chunks.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you guys want to see that?
Okay.
Patreon people? We'll see. Yeah, I have a big brain theory about this story. I think I'm right. This is where
could
I'm
be.
not dumb.
I don't know.
This is where I'm smart.
You could be right.
Figuring out the story.
Again, I'll keep my mouth shut.
You didn't think about that, though.
No,
That had not occurred to you.
No.
Seeing what you saw so far, that potential premise has not occurred to you.
No, it hadn't.
There's also this grim.
But you could be right.
There's also this grim fairy tale that this story so far.
The Brothers Grimm.
Brothers Grimm.
Yes.
Yeah. That I really like. That really reminded me of this story so far.
Do you want to mention it? That's not a spoil. Mentioning a book that could, like, if people want to read the book, then spoil themselves. You can say it.
I think the story is called Brother and Sister, which is a very strange title.
Okay.
The story is not about. Well, there is a brother and sister, but that's not what that's not the piece that reminds me of this. But there's something that happens in that story to the princess that really reminds me of what is happening to Zelda.
All right.
Or what is Zelda? What's happening to Zelda?
Okay.
So, I don't know. We should continue, and we'll see if I'm right.
Guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Yes.
Notable characters. The last thing here.
Yeah. So you said you met Sidon, which is great.
I did.
It's kind of fun to see all of those characters again.
Yeah, and find out it's like at the end of like some of those movies. It's like, oh, and
Where are they
in
now?
the future? Like he became the president or whatever.
I know.
Like,
I love how everyone's growed up.
yeah,
you know?
they have some good
glowed up.
some good storylines about what they're doing. So like Sidon, like he has like a lot of new things happening in his life, but he has mixed feelings about them, which is interesting, and he's like feeling the burden of a lot more responsibility.
Sure.
So it is fun to have them back, and like I wonder like what new characters of the same importance will we find along the way.
You kind of see that.
You met a very hot man in a log cabin.
I was
something?
I was in Kakariko Village poking around, and the husbando alert.
Is that a big character?
Alert.
Who is that?
It is somebody on the research team, so you'll find out when you go to Kakariko Village, like what is going on in the village.
I actually haven't been there at all yet.
Yeah, you'll find out. It's actually really fun. Like, again, it feels very connected to like the events of the main story, which is great. And this person is part of the effort.
I see.
But you also meet Paya, who was in the previous game, the little girl,
right?
And now she's like the chief. So it's like she has also grown up and taken these responsibilities, and she also is kind of, I think all of these people are sort of having this like thing where like, oh, I have these expectations now, and it's like, it's what happens when you grow up and become an adult. Like you have all these responsibilities, you know. It's exactly maybe what is happening to Sidon, what's happening to some of these characters that we've met in Breath of the Wild as, you know, almost like kids, and now they're adults with responsibilities.
The internet seems turned about Pura. Pura was trending over the weekend. I clicked on it and I said, oh my God, get me out of here. That was a mistake.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. Don't you think? No, you don't. You're not a Pura.
Not for me, but it's fine.
Pura fan. Okay.
I understand it.
She's in like heels for some reason, which is a weird fashion choice when you're tromping around a world that is in chaos.
Yeah, what are the big characters have you run into?
Let's see. I've run into, and then I went to the Rito village. I ran into some characters there, and I think it's really nice. I think my biggest thing is like, oh, it's so great. It's like literally like a high school reunion where you're like, oh, let's what have you been up to?
Yeah.
You know, like I remember you. So like those moments have been really great, and like I said, some of the side quests are really nice as well. Like they kind of give you more insights into the characters, and it feels like it feels very well done. Like it's really like they all have their backstories, and it all feels connected to Breath of the Wild and what their life was then and what their expectations are now. And you know, I think it's really great.
Yeah. So last big question of what you've been playing so far. is the game meeting your expectations?
I think yes. Like my expectations were pretty managed, honestly, and I definitely wasn't expecting to be as blown away as I was in Breath of the Wild. I think I am sufficiently blown away, more so than I anticipated. But there's also parts of the game that have been frustrating for me and have been hard and challenging and kind of, annoying. But overall, I think my expectations have definitely been met, but because they were pretty tempered.
Yeah. Remember, my prediction back in January was the game might be disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't feel disappointed, so
Yeah.
I'm glad to say that.
Right.
It's definitely like in the top 1% of games I play, just in terms of quality and how much fun I'm having it. It's like, where does it fall in that 1%? I don't know yet. I need to keep playing.
Soon. Yeah,
and again,
soon.
like the game is so big and there's so much still to do that I have not experienced at all that I want to.
Yeah.
So like I would love to join the people saying like, oh yes, this is dethroned. Breath of the Wild is my favorite game ever.
Yeah.
I can't say that yet.
I can't say that yet either. Those people probably played hundreds of hours already because those are the people that are like probably playing all day, every day.
A lot of the people who reviewed the game, they said like the more they played it, like the more
they loved it.
They loved it, and the more the brilliance of it became obvious to them. So I'm excited to see if I experience that sort of curve.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think right now we're at the part of the learning where it's hard. Like you got to learn all of these new things. You're such a little baby right now.
Yeah.
And you're just like stumbling through this world, like weak as can be. I think maybe there's a moment that happens or something that happens where you just know what to do. You like quickly can use all of your abilities really seamlessly. Like you feel smart. And I think that's maybe where the brilliance of it really becomes very evident.
Right.
But right now I'm so like wide-eyed and terrified that I just can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah. But it's absolutely one of those games where it's like, well, this is all I want to do with any moment of time that I have.
Oh yeah. It's perfect that it's perfect for that because you can do like some quick little things or you can dive in.
Yeah. Did you ever have this where you're playing a game, it's like really good, but you don't necessarily have that same urge to just like spend every moment on it?
Like Resident Evil.
Does that happen to you?
For me.
Oh, I felt that way. I felt the opposite about Resident Evil.
Oh,
I was
really?
like super pumped to go back to that game.
Oh, really? I was excited to go back to it, but I was also like, Resident Evil is one of those games where I'm like, it's a big challenge for me to go into this because I'm going to be scared and I'm going to be nervous and I just need to like gird my loins to go into this game.
Well, I thought we were off the Resident Evil talk after 2 months straight. 2 months straight.
That's why it took me so long.
Had to sneak one in.
That's why it took me so long. But this game, there's moments where I'm like very relaxed.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem, you know?
Before we get off of Tears of the Kingdom, we did ask our Patreon subscribers a simple question, which is what has been your most memorable moment in the game so far? We got some great answers. Let's start with Twin Dragon 76. Probably diving into my first chasm, seeing the light of the world slowly vanish and be replaced by an all-consuming darkness really stuck with me. It's kind of creepy and a nice tone shift from the rest of the game.
Agreed.
Is there going to be somebody who's just like, I don't need lights. Like, watch me just perfect run through the underground, no lights.
What?
I bet that'll happen at some point.
Oh my god! Who are these people?
Chad Templin says, realizing that all of the horses I registered at the stable in Breath of the Wild have been carried over to Tears of the Kingdom.
I checked immediately. My horses are there, people.
This was a very emotional moment for a lot of people.
I'm so excited to see my ponies.
I
don't care.
Don't like the horses in these games.
No, you don't.
I found a wild horse and I captured it. No, I captured it and then I just let it go because I was like, I'm not having a good time riding this horse.
Oh, I'm so glad my horses are back. I have like the fancy horse, like the one that was really hard to get.
The big horse?
The big horse, yeah.
Oh, the big horse is cool. I like the big horse.
Yeah. His name is Tom Nook.
I don't know why. I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, I got this horse that I didn't remember that was named after my pet who has since passed away. That happened. That's me.
That's also me.
So it's like, that's a sad reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fun that's been really resonating with people.
Yeah. Why
you?
Oh. It
says, I was so used to always having a paraglider on me that when I leapt off the starting island, I aimed for a tower. About halfway down, I realized I didn't have it, and I was forced to accept my fate. I promptly plummeted to my death and laughed for a few minutes straight.
We all did it, guys. We've all plummeted to our death.
Well, you had it, okay? It's different.
I'm so bad at it. Yeah. Sometimes I have to like die on purpose. Like I accidentally fell off the Sky Island, and I was like, no, I haven't saved. I need to like die on purpose so I can get respawned up there.
I have the paraglider, and I'm never giving it up again in my life.
Just grasp it tightly.
Yeah, I need that paraglider.
Grasp it tightly.
Wario Tush says, the biggest for me was the realization that by using the old map, they were able to do things they couldn't if they made a new one from scratch in a different location. Variations on it, from ruins hitting the ground, caves, weather events, rerouted rivers, etc., have forced me to rethink how I navigate a map I've spent hundreds of hours in. It's a little overwhelming sometimes, but it's exciting to refamiliarize myself with a familiar but altered landscape.
So well said.
Yeah, you do have to readjust your brain.
Yes.
Like, oh, well, I've done this a million times, and now for the 1,000,001st, I'm doing it differently.
Yeah, and it looks different.
Yeah.
But also familiar at the same time. It's a little bit of a mind, like it kind of, you have to really wrap your head around it a little bit.
Right. And finally, switching it up, underscore says, this game is incredible. The opening to Tears of the Kingdom was spine-tingling. I did this weird, ugly cry smile thing and will always be most memorable, but overall I love how this game doesn't have one answer to solve a problem. It makes me feel smart that I can use all the abilities to help me solve problems both in shrines and around the world. Building my first working flying machine after reaching the Sky Islands from the ground made me so proud.
Yes, the game has a great way of making you feel extremely smart, but also extremely dumb in like a span of 30 seconds. So,
but see, that's so big for me. Who, again, I struggle in those traditional dungeons because there's one solution, and maybe the way my brain works doesn't always go to that solution.
Yeah.
So it's like, thank goodness.
That's right.
That just like real life, there are multiple ways to get through something.
Exactly. Now I'm glad that they are able to allow you to do that, because sometimes their way to solve it is very hard for you to come to that one specific conclusion. I found that in a lot of shrines too.
Yeah.
Like, the way you want me to solve this does not make sense to me.
Right.
So
but that's
I don't
fine.
know. I think that's fine. Like, that's the
you're not stuck to that.
whoever designed it, that made sense to them, so that's fine. But it's so nice to have that as an option, which is why I think they don't have any sort of like hint system or something like that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Also, look it up.
No.
3 hours later.
No.
That concludes our deep, how long has this been going? Ooh, like an hour or more. Conversation of Tears of the Kingdom. We will be back with a lot more.
Yes.
We'll be playing this game for a long time,
Yes.
so don't worry. We did play 2 other games though.
Before
we had some time for dabbling before this game came out. I played a game, so did you. The one I was playing, I don't know how to pronounce this, called Apico? I don't know.
I think so.
But it's basically, think of like an Animal Crossing type game, or one of these more sort of like farm sim type games that is focused on beekeeping, which, believe it or not, is a topic I'm interested in.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
You should totally be.
I have taken an introductory beekeeping class.
You can have bees on your house.
I know. I put on the whole suit.
Yeah.
I shot them with the smoke.
The smoke.
I moved them around. I harvested some honey.
Honeycomb is so yummy too.
Right.
It's so good for you.
I love bees. We should all love bees. Bees do a lot of good for the
They
environment.
do. We should never let the bees go away.
So I was like, oh wow, they made a game about beekeeping. Like, I want to play that. And I didn't get to play this game very long because Zelda came out, but I really liked what I did play. It's pretty in depth. So it's got that sort of same like top down look of an Animal Crossing. It's in a much more sort of like retro look though. And you go around the environment, you get stuff. There's there's beehives everywhere. You can put them into you can create different hives. There's different types of bees, so you can like create different
hybrids.
You make a queen bee, and the queen bee makes a certain amount of workers, which make a certain amount of honey.
Oh, it's very deep.
And you can like plant flowers around them to attract different types of bees. So
do you plant different flowers with different types of honey?
Yeah, you can. Oh. So it is a very deep game. Like,
that's awesome.
Again, I played this game for I think 2 nights, and I was just like wrapping my head around all of it. But that's good because like, I think if you are interested in this game, you're interested in real life beekeeping, which is also pretty complicated. Yeah. So
You have a big backyard. You should get some.
Obviously, a very niche topic, but really well done, and very fun too. It had a lot of personality. Like, you talked to a lot of people, and they had a lot of fun things to say. And you're in this sort of big open space, and you can explore it and go around. And
nice.
So I liked it a lot.
Awesome. I also played a little game before Tears of the Kingdom came out, called Good Pizza, Great Pizza.
Oh.
It was, it's basically like a cooking sim kind of game. You start by opening your own like pizza shop across the street from another pizza shop, and this guy is like basically will become your rival. And yeah, it's all about like, like sort of like a time-based kind of thing. Like in a day, how many pizzas can you serve? Everybody has very complicated orders, and it's a challenge to like decipher what kind of pizza they want. And then you can upgrade your little pizza restaurant. There's tons of different little like customizations.
Oh, that's
you can
cute.
also get like different toppings.
Oh.
And it also has some very interesting like social commentary, which I wasn't expecting. Like, at the end of each day, they have like a newscast kind of come on. And like one of the storylines is that like homelessness is a problem in the city. And like you meet these people that can't pay you, and they ask for food because they're like homeless or like whatever. So there's a very interesting layer of like social commentary in this like little pizza game. But it was really fun and really cute. And the animation style reminded me of the that show Bob's Burgers.
Ah.
So very cute little game. Yeah, I liked it.
What is the strangest pizza you've eaten in real life?
This sounds strange, but it actually tasted really good. Tuna fish and onion, like canned tuna.
Okay, I could see that.
Apparently that's a very like common pizza in Rome.
Oh.
And my Italian friend was like, you should try this pizza, and it's really good. I'm like, that's a weird combination. But I liked it. It was really good.
You haven't delved into Japanese pizzas.
Oh, I don't really like
I'll be staying away from those.
Pizzas.
Thank you very much.
They have some weirds. There's a lot of like mayo danger.
That's why I'm staying away.
A lot of mayo danger for you.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up what we've been playing. Before we get to the news, we want to say this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. Thank you, HelloFresh. We love HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
I love HelloFresh. I just received my new HelloFresh order, which is very exciting for a busy week coming up. This week I went with, again, the pescatarian option.
You do love the pescatarian option.
I do. I really do love the the seafood that they have there is really good. And then I look at the packaging. It's like farm from like sustainable farm.
Okay.
It's like really high quality.
Yeah.
But they have tons of different options for you to choose from. You can, if you're a vegetarian, vegan, whatever, like they have all of those different kinds of meals for you. It's all pre-proportioned. But I have something that I'm making tonight. It's Spanish paella, seafood paella.
Wow.
With shrimp. And it looks so good. I'm so excited to make
That's
that for
great, because
dinner.
normally paella takes like forever to make.
Yeah, this one seems like it's a little bit faster, so
Wow.
that's good. But yeah, the recipes are all like super interesting as well. Like I never would make paella on my own. Like I'm not gonna go out and get the ingredients to make paella. So it's really nice to have that option with HelloFresh.
They also have a limited time menu with some recipes for May, which is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So that's a really fun way to get in some different recipes and celebrate that.
I did get one of those in my
really?
HelloFresh as well. I got a
fantastic.
Vietnamese vermicelli bowl.
Wow.
Very delicious.
That sounds wonderful.
I'm very excited to eat that one as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go to HelloFresh.com/KitKrysta16 and use code KitKrysta16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. I repeat, go to HelloFresh.com/KitKrysta16 and use code KitKrysta16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
The URL is here, and the promo code will be in the description box below as well. Yay!
Nice. All right, news time.
Yes.
Not as many news stories as we've had in the past.
Yes.
That's fine. Nintendo did put out its big financial update for the fiscal year.
Oh boy, the fiscal year.
The FY, as they call it.
Yes, we're on FY23.
Yeah. So some numbers are down, but it is sort of the reality of the console business where, it's not going to go up forever.
Yes.
So they sold about 18 million Switch systems in this last fiscal year. They now think for the current fiscal year that we're in, they think they will sell 15 million. They did say that was perhaps a stretch though.
Yeah.
Some weird expectation management there of like, this is the forecast, but we're probably not going to hit it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just to prove that they're still working really hard to keep this Switch life cycle strong.
Yeah.
That could be like the message that they're trying to send.
Yeah, well then maybe you should announce some games. They have now sold over 125 million Switch systems.
Woo-wee.
So it's now already in that third best-selling console of all time.
Mm-hmm. Way to go.
They said this was big. They said no new hardware this fiscal year. So people who are like, oh, the next Switch is coming out. Well, it's not coming out before April 1st.
That's right.
Which I think is about where we
were predicting that just last week. We were saying that.
Doesn't mean they can't announce it, but it will not be out until the end of that fiscal year.
It either.
That's a long time. I mean, it's not even June now, so that's 9 months. Again, better have some games.
We'll see. We shall see.
In the investor Q&A, almost every question. Did you read this?
I did.
Almost every question was about the Mario movie.
It was.
Which I understand. It's like, hey,
they made some big bucks there for those investors.
So all of the money that was made from that will go into the current fiscal year. So it's not accounted for in the reporting.
Their profits in the current fiscal year is going to be pretty.
That they're doing here. They said they did see some boosts in sales of Mario games as a result of the movie. They did not get into details of that though. Yeah. But it did say that it expects the net profits to fall 20% in the next fiscal year. So that's that's a bit concerning of like, oh, now you're getting money from the movie. Probably now you're getting more money from the theme park, but your profits are going down 20%. So that would be a much steeper decline on the game business if you didn't have this other stuff to prop it up.
Yeah, that's a good thing they had the other stuff. The timing of it worked out really well because now that we're in sort of the end of the life cycle for Switch, not as many games are coming out, obviously. To have something else to like offset that is actually quite, good for them.
Yeah.
Did you see that stat that like the Americas lost the most?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
It was like
it dropped the most?
Yeah, out of all the regions. The America region dropped like 14% or like 19%, but all the other regions were a little bit higher. And I had a little chuckle because I remember when we were at Nintendo, like there was some stiff competition between the regions, and it's always a little bit funny because it's one global company, but the leaders of every region love to rub it in to the other leaders. And maybe it was like a friendly competition, but it felt a little serious at times too, where they were like, we're the most, look at how much we sold in our region. And then like there was also those meetings that we had where people were like, our leadership team would be like, we have to beat Europe. It was very serious. You're like, oh, okay. So I wonder how they're feeling over there if they're the region that lost the most money.
It was always a good bargaining chip of like, hey, we need to do this thing or we need this resource because like, hey, we're the biggest region. We're selling the most. Yeah. So give us the thing.
Yeah, that was a very good bargaining chip to get things that you wanted. But if they're not the most profitable region and they're the biggest, oh no.
So they've done a great job to extend the Switch life cycle to this point. Obviously, we're getting close to the end.
Yes.
I worry a little bit about how shaky this 9 month or whatever it ends up being stretch could become.
Yeah.
Again, a lot relies on what they announce over the summer.
Yep.
Then
what comes
out. Is there actually a software roadmap?
What's going on around the holiday time, which is going to be a big, that's like a big make or break moment. And then again, not to like hammer this point over and over again, but then what happens, the transition will be telling for what's to come in the future. We'll have to see, but it is like one of those things where you come down from a high of all these things and you have to deal with what the future looks like. So
Yeah, and I mean, they're still making a ton of money.
Oh yeah, there's money in the bank. Don't worry.
So I mean, the way these financial things get broken down of like, oh, it's down 1% and the stock crashed. Like people, like the investing community is nutso.
Yes.
I mean, if you want deeper analysis of this, like
Yeah.
maybe you can ask your accountant or something.
Yeah,
We're not super equipped.
Yeah, but Nintendo is always a good little saver company. They have a lot of money in the bank, like wiled away.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a Wario gold mine down there.
Yeah,
So.
but yeah, this is going to be an interesting, 9 months to a year here.
Yeah, we're entering probably a new era soon. Yeah.
A new Game Freak game has been announced.
I saw this.
And this was unexpected. So they are partnering with Private Division, which, did you know much about this?
I saw the story.
Did you know about Private Division, though?
That they're the parent company to Take-Two?
So, well, they are one of the publishing labels under Take-Two.
Oh, okay.
And they're
Take-Two is their parent company.
Yes.
I see.
And they're sort of the indie label for Take-Two.
Okay. What other games have they published?
I saw that they had published the hard copy version of Hades.
Gotcha.
They had a number of other ones that was like, oh yeah, this is very much your niche.
It's like a very prestigious indie title.
Yeah, really high quality, notable indie games. So they have this new IP. They're calling it Project Bloom.
Yeah, the concept art is very interesting.
There's one piece of concept art, which is this. It looks like a samurai, I guess, or
maybe
some sort of ancient Japanese garbed person wandering through a forest.
A very sort of almost prehistoric looking, or like I don't know, like a deep forest. I guess. Yeah.
Coming out fiscal year 2026. I don't know why you needed to announce this now. It's a long time from now.
A long time from now. I know. I saw that. I was like, why though? This is like one of those things where it's like, let's announce a game like 6 years before it comes out. Like, it's weird.
I mean, Game Freak, unless this is totally a new thing for Game Freak, they've made these sort of side games before. None of them have been super big.
Right.
To the extent where you would need to like hype it and promote it for multiple years.
Yeah. I like this though for the reason that I love when Game Freak makes a non-Pokemon game.
Absolutely.
When they do that, the creativity is always off the charts. It's always something that is very unexpected. And it's just great to see them stretch their wings a little bit from the Pokemon formula.
This is why I like anytime people get into the, Game Freak sucks, Game Freak's lazy, but anytime people go down that, it's like, no, like, do you know they do stuff like this where like they give people opportunities to make these non-Pokemon games to stretch their wings and try something different?
Yeah, it's really hard when you're a development company that just gets locked into the same formula year after year and you're on a schedule that's like, we need you to like make this game so we can make money.
Right.
That stinks. Like, who wants to be on that cycle, all the time? So I think it's awesome, even though this game is coming out like never for like a long time or whatever. But like it's just fun to see them do something that's not Pokemon.
Yeah. I'll also say like aside from Pocket Card Jockey, like these side games they've made haven't always been the best. So I don't find myself like crazy hype for this. I'm definitely interested though.
I don't know. It looks very. This is one piece of concept art, but it looks very different than their typical thing. So very interested.
Last bit of news is sadly Nintendo Power Podcast is ending. They snuck that into the episode. So I had been wondering what was going on with this because they had
slowed down.
They've been on a monthly schedule and they had only put out one episode this year, which was their sort of 2023 preview.
Yeah.
It'd been months. And I thought, gosh, if they don't have an episode for Zelda, they probably just quietly ended it. But they had a Zelda episode, but they said, like, this is our last sort of main episode. We may come back for future special episodes in the future, but there's nothing planned. So I was a little bit sad at this.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if people know, they might know by now, but you basically, like, started this, championed it, fought tooth and nail, you and Reggie, for months and months and months, maybe even more than months, to get this off the ground. Like, this was like your thing that you like were really pushing for when you headed up all the original content at Nintendo. So does it feel weird to see, or are you sad to see this ending? Or?
The thing that's disappointing about it is like, oh, you know what's two things that aren't getting smaller in popularity? Nintendo and podcasts. So why are you shutting down the official Nintendo podcast? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely one of those things, though, where it's not as easy as you might think. It's like, oh, just make an official podcast about Nintendo. And it's like, well,
there's so many challenges.
There were a lot of reasons why this couldn't be everything that it should have been.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I'm still proud of, what the team did. I still think it was a very solid podcast, but there were just some things like, oh, yeah, the Nintendo podcast is going to have developer interviews on it. Nope.
Yeah. Well, there was one.
Well, yeah, the first and last.
But it was Breath of the Wild related.
The very first episode. You all should listen to that if you haven't. It's Mr. Aonuma. Yeah. We recorded that right before Game Awards 2017.
Was awesome.
So that was the first and last. But yeah, I mean, of the handful of times where I was about to throw my hands in the air and say I quit this job, the podcast was. I don't know, 4 out of the 5, or
I think so,
it was a lot of them, because we just had a lot of really ridiculous issues and drama around this that did not need to exist.
The really unfortunate thing watching you go through that, and also we kind of went through it together with some of the other projects we were working on towards the end of our time at Nintendo, was that feeling that even though you were allowed to launch it, to do it, it never sort of was able to meet its true potential because of all the limitations that was put in front of you.
Right.
It's like, after you fought for a year, they're like, fine, you can do this. Yeah. But here are 100 ways that 100 rules to work under.
Right.
And so after it launched, it's still good, but you saw the potential, and you knew in your heart that you can never get it there. And it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly painful to watch that. And sort of almost like a handicapped version of the thing that you wanted to do. Right. It's tough. But yeah, I'm really sad to see this end. It just feels like, the era of Nintendo Minute and the Nintendo Power Podcast, that era where people used to get a glimpse into the company, where you are not just looking at a monolithic corporation. You're seeing people, you're seeing, people that work there that are as excited as the community is about video games, and want to talk about it, want to, connect with the community. Seeing all of that sort of go away it's a little sad. Sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this was, we talked about this before, our already huge respect for Reggie, went through the roof when we were getting this out, because it was complicated, Reggie. And there were a lot of people who didn't get it. But
Reggie was GOAT.
I mean, Reggie is very forward-looking. He understands trends and what is going to be big in the future. And he knew, oh yeah, podcasts are a major thing. We need to get on this. Mm-hmm. This is a very valuable communication tool for the company to have.
Exactly.
And he saw that immediately, and he was behind it, full on. And he helped.
So brave.
He helped us get over a lot of the humps.
Stand up to people.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once he left, that became much more challenging, because we sort of lost our executive sponsor champion.
Yeah, your champion.
Yeah.
And then you left. You were the other person that was really helping to champion that. There were, oh my gosh, those emails that you used to get, unreal.
Shout out to Chris Slate, though, who hosted this. He was formerly the editor-in-chief of Nintendo Power Magazine.
So it was so perfect.
And he was a perfect host for this.
He's our friend. Yeah. We've been on multiple episodes.
Our office neighbor.
The best Mario Maker person I've ever met in my entire life. The nicest guy. Awesome host. And we had so much fun with our end of the year. Every year, end of the year, we would have the Nintendo Minute, Nintendo Power Podcast collab with Chris Slate, and it was my favorite. It was my favorite time of the year. It was so much fun, and I'm so glad we got to do that and work with him. And yeah, we'll have those memories. But I'm really sad. I'm really sad to see it go.
Right. So shout out to Chris. But yeah, that was a bummer. But let's move on to questions from the community.
I'm laughing at this first question.
This first one's a doozy. Comes from Frulia. Every question we get comes from our Patreon subscribers. Frulia wants to know, and there's a visual aid as well. Apparently, these are officially licensed Mario underwear from 2005 and 2006. Can you confirm if this is true? And if so, what was Nintendo thinking? And the underwear says, there's two. One says, "Show me the princess." Gross. The other one says,
With a picture of Mario
I
on
scored with the princess, with a picture of Mario giving the peace sign.
By the way, these are boxers, in case you're curious.
Yes.
This is the type of
Well, first of all, it's absolutely true. And,
it's absolutely
and these are real.
This is the era when Nintendo was trying to be edgy. This is that edgy era that we were in.
No, I mean...
It's not? It is.
No. This is like late GameCube Wii era.
GameCube was the edgy era.
There was an era that really only ended very recently where this was Nintendo merchandise. Like, it was awful. Like, it was written by someone who had no clue what a video game was.
They just licensed it out without any sort of quality control.
Vaguely leaning, like, off-color jokes and just, or just, like, the most obvious thing. Like, level up, bro.
Or, like, I'm a phone guy, and it's like a picture of...
Game over, bro. Like, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
we only recently got out of this.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of this.
Yeah, but there was an era where in the GameCube times where it was kind of edgy, and I feel like this must have been around then where there's no quality control over the licensed merchandise, and there were just people were left to their own devices to do whatever with.
But I remember going to like the Nintendo World Store in New York before they started doing their own in-house designs, and like again, this was like maybe 2015 or something. Just like. This stuff sucks.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
It's a little.
We need some better
I don't know
stuff.
if it's better now. It's definitely not. Doesn't have like a lame tagline on it anymore.
It's 1,000% better than this.
Well, it's better than having underpants that say "I scored with the princess." I scored with the princess. Are you serious right now? Canceled. Mario's gonna get me too. But the other thing that's, I mean, right now it's like it's swung the other way where the merchandise is like kind of like boring. Like every single Tears of the Kingdom thing just has a logo. That's it. Literally, it's just a sweatshirt with a logo on it. It's like snooze fest.
They didn't have some better stuff.
That's all I saw.
Oh, I wasn't looking that closely.
It's not great
because you can't get it.
Well, they won't let you.
Unless you're going to New York, you can't get it. So I'm like, there's no point in even looking.
They won't. Japan will not let you put anything on a piece of merch anymore. That's what it is.
Who is Bowser Jr.'s mom? Has the next question. Mario Strikers Battle League has apparently sold more than any individual Xenoblade Chronicles game. If you are Nintendo, what do you make of this information?
If you are Nintendo. Well, I think Nintendo knows, and we knew at Nintendo that Xenoblade is quite a niche audience. You know, no matter what, a Xenoblade character game is never going to be as popular as a game that has Mario as the front person. That just has universal wide appeal and recognition that sadly, as much as we all love Xenoblade 1000% more than Mario Strikers, sadly, if you're not like totally plugged into everything Nintendo and gaming, if you're grandma at the Target, you're probably gonna buy Mario Strikers for little Timmy and not Xenoblade. So I think that's the reality of the situation.
Just another proof point for them too of like these, fan outrage moments mean basically nothing to them.
It means nothing.
And almost
truly means nothing.
Basically every time that these have happened, the game has gone on to be quite successful.
Yeah.
Whether it's like Pokemon with the National Dex outrage.
Yeah, or even this latest one with like the outrage around
like
the quality.
I mean, this is not like a through the roof like sales, but I mean, this is a really nice selling game.
Yeah, when you slap a Pikachu and a Mario on something, you're pretty much guaranteed at this point to like make the money. It's an unfortunate reality because if you're not careful, you can basically get lazy, right? And kind of rely on the power of the IP, which I don't think is what Nintendo is doing or what Pokemon is doing.
But there's probably a lot of people who bought this game who are like, yeah, this is great. Like, if you don't have the knowledge of the series...
True.
Which a lot of people don't.
Do they really think it's great when it's so hard to play, though? Even if they're first time coming into it?
The difficulty, you mean? Or
like the control scheme and all that stuff? It was like really hard.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, if you don't have the history with the series, or you're sort of just a more casual player, it's like, I just want to play some soccer, like play a game, get in, get out. It's like, there's a lot of people that this is fine for.
True.
So again, like they know they have this like silent majority of people who aren't
Don't care.
who aren't on
Or
message boards
they're
or
fine,
on Twitter
yeah.
who like
Right.
don't care and they're not going to be
Yeah.
swayed by
Yeah.
it.
Again, power of Mario too, though. It counts for a lot.
Cyberfox has a question. Hello there, Krysta and Kit. Was going to ask for your thoughts on the battle of the sequels, Jedi Survivor versus Tears of the Kingdom. As both Breath of the Wild and Jedi Fallen Order were highly anticipated and successful titles in their respective launch years, now both of their sequels are releasing in pretty close window to one another. Both previous titles brought in something a little new and interesting, and most importantly, fun to their franchises, but will their successors follow up with it? As of asking this question, Tears of the Kingdom has not released yet, has now, and Jedi Survivor is trying to push out patch updates, especially for PC players. By the end of the year, will these two still be around to be Game of the Year contenders? If so, which of them might have a stronger chance of winning? Or could they both just disappear and be forgotten about later? Feel free to save this question. If you choose to answer it, we are answering it right now.
Whoa!
What do you have to say to Cyberfox?
Well, I have not played Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, so I can only answer from the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom side. Yeah, it is kind of interesting how there's always a game brave enough to go up against a Zelda game. Before, it used to be Horizon, which I always feel bad for because that's a great game, and somehow no one's played that game because of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But I do think a lot more people are playing Jedi Survivor because they came out about 3 weeks maybe before.
I think there was a
Tears of the
little bit
Kingdom.
of a bigger window.
A little bit of a window, yeah.
I still
know
stayed away from it,
You
though.
stayed away from it because you didn't want to start and not finish.
I was like, I'll probably get like 3/4 of the way through and then have to put it down, which would be annoying.
Yeah, that would annoy you. But that game has gotten such rave reviews. People seem to absolutely love Jedi Survivor, say that it's like a huge step up from Fallen Order, and there's been a lot of really positive things about Jedi Survivor. So I think the game is standing on its own, like just fine. You know?
I think this game will be in the Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
and then
so.
They obviously have the power of the the IP behind them as well, with Star Wars. Yeah, and then Tears of the Kingdom, I think it's pretty much guaranteed for it to be nominated for Game of the Year. So
Yeah.
I think we're good there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how all of this shakes out. I'm so curious as to like what other games could potentially top Tears of the Kingdom, given the amount of fandom and high reviews and just the rave positivity that people have been giving it now. It's hard to imagine this game not making it into the Game of the Year nominations.
Yeah. Maverick Nate asks, there are all sorts of video game themed restaurants and cafes like the Toad Cafe at Universal and the Kirby Cafe, Pokemon Cafe, and Resident Evil Cafe in Japan. If you had the chance to pick the next video game themed restaurant, which IP would you choose and what kinds of dishes would they have?
Animal Crossing!
Oh.
Immediately. Animal Crossing, how great. You could have like a real life garden outside. Like those farm to table kind of restaurants that we have here in California.
Uh-huh.
You could do that where like you have like a garden or like a nice, herb garden or something like that, or vegetable garden. Mm-hmm. You can have all of the recipes that you can cook in the Animal Crossing games too. It'll be so cute. And you can do the cute little like themed plates, and you're like, this is an Isabel.
Yeah.
Isabel
The
bento.
cooking didn't grab me in Animal Crossing.
I know, but you could use the things. I did have Restaurant Row in my Animal Crossing island.
That's true.
Very proud
You
of.
did.
So that's cute too. You could do like a cute little Animal Crossing.
Not just because it's the hot thing now. The Zelda restaurant would be great. Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. Listen up.
Okay. Man with a pot?
No, it's like a Mongolian barbecue thing where you have all the ingredients. You make your own dish.
Oh, make your own. Okay.
And then just like that, it goes, gets tossed around.
It could be dubious.
Yes, it could end up dubious, but it's on you if it is.
That's true.
Mongolian barbecue is great.
I love Mongolian barbecue. I'm so sad that Great Khan's closed in the mall because that was like a go-to for me. Great Khan's in the mall.
But isn't that a good idea?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd eat there.
It's great.
I would eat there.
It's great.
Make me a link stir fry anytime.
Yes.
Delicious.
Pikmin Sneezekov wants to know, I'd like to ask, what type of dress code did you have at Nintendo?
There was no dress code. It wasn't like everyone wear a suit or something like that. It was pretty casual at Nintendo of America. I think like usually it was like frowned upon to wear like flip-flops
Shorts.
and shorts.
There were some things where it's
Yeah.
like, maybe don't do that.
There was a woman that got sent home because her outfit was too revealing. She no longer works at Nintendo, by the way. She left shortly after her time there.
Was did you see this outfit, and in your opinion, was it crossing some line?
I saw the outfit. I think
I never saw it.
it was in a big meet. We had this big Monday morning meeting for the marketing team. It was a lot of people. The outfit was a bit see-through.
What?
And you could see a lot of
No.
stuff. Yes. Were you not in that meeting?
I wasn't there.
Why not?
I don't
You're
know.
supposed to go to that meeting.
I know.
It's really important for you to be in those meetings.
Gosh.
Anyways, so that happened once. But otherwise, they were pretty open with what you could wear. When we went to Japan, though, we would have to dress up.
Yes.
Like, a lot. So that was like... And then, like, there was, like, a conversation that I had with my woman boss when we were in Japan. She was like, do you think we need to get pantyhose to wear for this, like, big meeting with, like, the president at the time? It was not Mr. Furukawa. It was somebody else. And we had this, like, huge meeting, like, with him. And she was like, do you think we need to go out and buy pantyhose? I'm like, is this 1985?
What is happening?
Like, she's like, are you wearing a skirt? I'm like, yeah, I am. Seriously, you think I need to go get pantyhose? Like, I've not ever worn pantyhose. I did not get pantyhose. So, anyways.
There were occasionally these vaguely threatening emails sent of like, hey, we have visitors from NCL
visitors.
coming.
Yes, the visitors.
Please take a moment to tidy up your workspace.
And yourself.
Yeah, and don't look like a slob either.
You disgusting, dirty little person. Yeah, you're clean up your coffee cups and yourself.
But yeah, most days it was just like whatever.
Yeah, it was very, very casual.
The Natrix asks, have either of you played Telltale's The Walking Dead? I've recently decided to replay the game and revisit the amazing and emotional narrative. While the gameplay and performance consistency are a bit lacking, the game totally makes up for it with its compelling story and original characters, comic book-esque art style, and music. If you could pick a franchise for Telltale to make a game of that would be as good as The Walking Dead Season 1, what would you choose?
That was a great game.
That was
Clementine!
That was actually my game of the year. Whatever year that came out, that was my favorite game.
I was a broken person after playing that game. Literally a broken person. I loved it. I feel like they haven't been able to capture... I tried to play Season 2 and it wasn't great.
They made a lot more of these and I just fell off.
I fell off.
Pretty much immediately.
Yeah, because the Season 1 was so hard to top.
I was like, I'm good with it.
And at that time, you and I were both reading the comments like religiously.
Honestly, that's been my experience with The Walking Dead overall. Is like I just completely fell off. It's like I've had enough of this.
Yeah, but the first the initial Walking Dead fandom that we all had, watching the show, playing the Telltale game, reading that massive comic book that was like a dictionary basically. I think how many volumes did we have of that? It was a lot. But we were so deep into that. It was so great at the time. Yeah, another Telltale game. I don't know.
Is Telltale even still around?
I don't know.
Because I know they had a lot of problems. They were like taking on too many games.
Yeah, they did have a lot of problems.
Like had layoffs and they really lost their way. I actually don't know what the state of Telltale is right now.
Yeah. I think that was very, very compelling though. Like anything with a really good narrative, I think could be, if they did it like the same style as Season 1 of Walking Dead, that would be really cool, but...
Mario the Movie the Game?
Oh, Mario.
Interactive, narrative-driven something or other?
Whoa. This is where it gets dark, like the Pedro Pascal version of Mario Kart.
No!
Oh, like the cute version?
It's cute.
Oh, cute. It's cute. Okay, it's cute. I thought it was going to be like, like the dark version where,
It is not.
Yeah, okay.
Tuskoob asks, hi Kit and Krysta, job listings for Tears of the Kingdom went up in 2018 that implied Nintendo was open to hiring foreigners who aren't from Japan. Oh my god. There are but a small handful of developers at NCL who aren't from Japan, including Breath of the Wild programmer Cory Bunnell and Splatoon 2 designer Jordan Amaro. However, it seems with this latest release, they've opened up the doors for more. What do you think about this trend? Have you met any of the foreigner devs from NCL? Do you personally think these are special exceptions or perhaps a sign of more opportunities for foreigners?
We have met some of them.
It's a bigger group than you think.
It is.
Yeah.
It's actually quite large.
Yeah, when we were there in 2019 last, we went out to dinner with somebody who was on the Zelda team.
Yeah, yeah.
And sort of
really
got
nice,
to hear their story of it. I mean, you do still need to know Japanese.
Yeah, you need to be
it's-
fluent.
It's a Japanese workplace and office
yeah.
still. But yeah, I think they are much more open to, and they want that sort of difference of
Perspective
opinion and perspective,
yeah.
which is great. And really valuable. And yeah, they're not very vocal about it, but I mean, nobody at Nintendo is vocal about anything. So you don't understand
the scope. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like every other developer is from outside of Japan, but there's more than you think.
I think they're truly evaluating developers on their skill as developers. So if you have the skills and that's what they're looking for, and that is the job that they are hiring for, I think anyone has a great shot.
Right.
There's no you're not going to be penalized for being a foreigner.
All right, this last question from Ubuntu might be over some people's heads, but I wanted to do it anyway.
Okay.
Hello, I'm curious whether there were any particular workplace methodologies practiced in your division at Nintendo. For example, at college we've learned about things like Agile and Scrum. I get the sense that most of these ideas are really specific to engineering, so I'm guessing the answer is no, but I'd be interested to know, so I thought I'd ask. Based off the stories you've told about work, I'd be surprised if there even could be some sort of methodology or system for structuring the workflow, but that's why I'd be all the more interested if there actually was. Ironically, I think Agile is actually heavily inspired by management practices in Japanese auto manufacturing. Thanks!
You'd be surprised to hear Agile was used in the marketing side. It was terrible, by the way. None of us wanted to, and it was really hard for people to pick up.
That was a major trend the last last year to 6 months.
Yeah.
Was like, we need to update our methodologies. We need to start using these things to get organized and your ballywick in life is organization, to get the teams all onboarded on these.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It crashed and burned.
It was a horrible way to do it because none of us actually knew how to use Agile.
Nobody had the time to actually learn how to use these things, and certain people didn't want to make the jump. They're just I'll just do email until I die.
Yes.
They could not
wrap
change their ways
around that.
So it crashed and burned.
Yeah, they wanted to use Agile, ironically, for Nintendo Direct planning. Ha ha ha. Which was ridiculous because that was the most intense, short time frame, pedal to the metal, just throw everything together as fast as possible because that's all the time that you have. And then they wanted someone to teach them some crazy new process and put it all into Agile and do all this stuff, and everyone just laughed in their face. It was really funny, actually.
So it's one of those things where it's a solution is right there, but there are just little reasons why it doesn't happen.
Right.
Eventually it's going to have to happen.
Because, there's no way.
It's just
it took so long for Nintendo to become just basic levels of office technology, I think. This is a really hilarious story where when I started at Nintendo, we didn't even use Microsoft Suite. We were not using Outlook. We were not using, any sort of Microsoft products we were not using because some time ago, some exec was like, no, we can't support Microsoft Xbox. It's our competitor. So we're going to use Exchange as our email.
What even is that?
Exactly. It was...
You mean Lotus Notes?
It wasn't Lotus Notes, it's Exchange.
I used Lotus Notes at Konami. I used Outlook for people in America and Lotus Notes to talk to people in Japan.
I think some of the Japanese teams still uses Lotus Notes, actually.
Come on.
There was weirdly, I used Exchange in college. That was our email system for our college. So I kind of knew it, but it was garbage. Forget about any sort of Google Suite because the security risk would not be tolerated, even though the IT team has no idea what they're doing, but whatever.
And every other big company in the world uses it.
Yeah. Now you and I, in our company here,
it's great.
We use Google Suite. I was my life is changed. But it's unbelievable. We didn't even use any sort of work chat until 2 years before we left Nintendo.
Yeah.
Then they discovered Workplace. No, not Workplace. What's it called?
Teams.
Teams.
Yeah, Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, they used Teams, and that was an eye-opening experience because the old people, the grandpas at work in our team did not know how to use chat and would not like understand.
They would basically write an email into Teams.
An email into
Dear
Teams.
Krysta,
Yeah.
here's my memo.
And then like sometimes they would like chat you. They're like, "Hi, Krysta."
And they would wait.
And then I'm like, "Hi,
Spit it out.
What do you want?" And then they would like we call it three dotting.
Yeah.
When you get three dotted by somebody. And like 20 minutes would go by, and it's like, what do you want?
Oh, Carol, take this down for me. I have a memorandum.
Note to self. No electronic calendar. I mean, I can go on. The systems when we were at Nintendo were like
Shambles.
Unbelievable how this company functioned, honestly. Like we're just like chipping emails into stone slabs and like carrier pigeoning them to Redmond. It was unbelievable. Anyways, glad to be in the 21st century now, or whatever.
Thank you, everybody who put in a question. Let's get on to thanking some superstars.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Our beautiful superstars. Aaron Hash.
Ben Eichhorn.
Maru Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Mr. Rogers.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up. _
Safazon.
The Shark Among Men.
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of Winds.
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly.
Turbocharged Nerd.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Christopher Lara.
And Simon.
Shout out to Angela Bycroft and Kyle LaBeouf who were in our Zelda Collector's Edition unboxing.
They filmed beautiful videos of their Collector's Edition for us.
They got the stuff we couldn't get.
They went buck wild and got everything. I applaud them. I am so like happy that they're so happy. So it's amazing, and we got to share it with them, that moment with them, which is great.
Do you want to do this speed run on one o'clock? Let's see how far we can get.
Okay.
Before we have a slip up.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Aaron Burgundy.
Adam Nansley.
Ajan Malari.
Ali Alejandro.
Alexander Pratt.
Andrew Uhas.
Astrodev.
Badman Horizon.
Blazing Enthused.
Bookham Dano.
Brad SP56.
Brooke Obscura.
Ricky Kazuki.
Bruce Dash.
Chancellor Fairley.
Oh, you messed up. What?
Chelly Squirrel.
All right, back to normal. Captain Alex.
C. Roper 17.
Daniel Cold.
Daniel Phillips.
Daniel Valencia.
Dodson.
Desert Colt 18.
Dadesh.
Dolce.
Dino Punch.
Elite Peach.
Esparts 50.
Fart Priest 69.
Furbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Fred Rossi.
Frederick Oof.
Ulf.
Wolf. Conradson. I'm so sorry.
Garrett Hullfish.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
G-Sun 101.
Ian Shea.
Iris Marin.
Israel Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jabroni Jones.
JBJ.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jerry 92602.
Jesse Hernandez.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joseph DeHaze.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Just Camtro.
Justin Lemminger.
Kawa 2796.
Keith Kwan.
Kelp Shake.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kibo.
Chris Yu.
Christopia Party With Me.
Kyle Gary Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyler Nelson.
Linnell Stickman.
Lemma.
Lit.
Mad Dog 5981.
Marky Man 64.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Mikey.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pong.
MSN Poke Gamer.
Mr. Beans Undip.
Mytran.
Nasir.
Nathan Burkhart.
Panda Buns.
Paul C. Pace.
Paul Gale Network.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Raver.
Rain Tech.
Roy Chiron.
Ryuji Utsuho Okuu.
Renee Rivers.
Rick Alvarado.
Ryoth 1.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Rhinetta.
Sam Nealon.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Slow Bro.
Shrews.
Silly Ferret.
SJ Sharky 777.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Tails a Link.
Tefew.
Terrastorm.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Topher Schmofer.
Travis Torline.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tuskoob.
Twin Dragon 76.
Tyler Geis.
Tyler and Tracy.
Vesves.
Video Game Stupid.
Virtual Bot.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Will Johnson.
Zudaverf.
Zelgarov.
Zapatty.
And Zeroid. And we did okay.
Next week.
Next
It's like training for a real speed run. You got to practice.
One leg at a time.
We'll be getting through this thing in no time.
All right. Well, that was wonderful to have a fun, in-depth discussion about Tears of the Kingdom. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the game and feeling some of the feelings that we're feeling. All the feelings.
We said before, wow, this might be a little bit of a shorter episode, but no, not the case.
I need to pee again, so we need to go. So don't forget to join us on patreon.com/
But the small talk, I want to make it.
Stop it. Kitten Krysta. Patreon.com/ Kitten Krysta. That is your important takeaway. What do you gotta say?
Happy birthday to you!
Oh,
That's my important takeaway. If you're watching on video on YouTube, you can go ahead and subscribe, give this podcast a thumbs up, and leave a comment. If you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, and a written comment. Thank you.
Thank you. And the socials. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Okay, we're going back to playing Tears of the Kingdom. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.